Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, December the 8th, 2020. This is the Imperial Remnant Broadcast, brought to you by Fandom Empire, live on the Fandom Empire YouTube channel. I am one of your hosts, Sean. Thank you for joining us tonight as we're going to dive into all sorts of things Star Wars. It sounds like, and I say sounds like because it's not confirmed, might be a big, or as Larry David would say, a pretty big week in Star Wars. Joining me on this episode as I try to unmute a lot of them. First up's Kieran. What's happening, man?
Not too much. It was a cold day. It was cold last couple days.
It was cold.
Yeah, it was good. It's all right. I made a snowman the other day. It was good.
You made a snowman?
Yeah.
How did it turn? Was it perfectly round, or let's be honest, was it just terribly misshaped?
So it was actually nice and round, and but in the kindergarten yard, I could only get a like one good big ball. So it actually looked like BB-8 in the end, someone said, because it was like one giant white ball and then like just a tiny ball, and then we ran out of snow.
Sounds like a fake snowman to me if I've ever heard one.
Oh, yeah.
Also joining us this evening, the other member of the Rogue Sons of Star Wars podcast, Thaden. What's happening, man?
I have time now. It's amazing. I was just playing Spider-Man. I'm so happy. It was a great day today. I got to play video games. It's amazing. Let
me tell you, this is a Star Wars show, but there's some mighty big things happening in the Spider-Man universe. It's been heating up for the last couple of months, and today was basically your, signed, sealed, delivered. They're definitely doing a Spider-Verse live-action movie with all three Spider-Men, and that's pretty cool. Sign me up. Sign me up. Also joining us this evening, the man with something in his mouth as usual. You knew you were next. Tommy's on a different page, and you still put it in your mouth. You just can't resist but putting things in your mouth.
Don't you put it in your mouth.
Oh, man. Johnny, what's happening?
Nothing.
And he's choking on it.
Yeah.
A couple of pubes in there.
That was my grandma that made that food.
Not where I was going with it. I was implying he had something else in his mouth, but I mean, if we want to go go that route, we can go there too.
What is wrong with you people?
What do you mean, you people? Don Cherry got fired for saying that.
This is true.
We're not going there.
So you literally stick something back in your mouth before you finish your intro. But literally all you've said is, what is wrong with you people? That's it.
Okay.
That's how he's doing this week.
All right. Well, enough of you.
It's a good question.
When I cut off one of your long tangents, I'm going to come back to this and be like, okay, so you set the stage for today. Also joining us this evening from somewhere in and around Baltimore, Maryland, he already told himself to go fuck himself in the pre-show. It's Tommy B. What's happening, man?
Man, I know I got problems. I'm not even going to mess with that. But not one of them right now is having a cookie in my mouth. Although,
or something
I do
else.
have one right beside me still. The other one already got eaten.
Are these the same cookies I seen your wife post on Facebook?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they don't look like my cup of tea.
What kind of cookies are these? Hold on. I didn't know what kind of cookies these are to know.
They
Butter cookies with jelly.
Ugh.
Any pubes?
That's no, we don't roll that way with our cookies. You think this is a fucking game? Is this a game to you?
That man takes cookies very seriously.
Time out. You're drinking water with your cookie? Why not milk? You against cookies and milk?
Tommy, you should know water's a bullshit drink.
Better for you.
We all have
And
water.
milk?
I think every one of us have a water here.
Water's worse than the
I do
fucking
behind
number
me, too.
7.
I mean, I never said this is water, so
So what is it?
Vodka.
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, it's not pop because there's no. It's too flat. I suppose it could be Could be this. You could be Oh, I'm not on camera. You could be doing up a little bit of the rum, but something tells me you're not
Straight rubbing alcohol.
Thought this water tasted funny.
Kieran's-
Why does this water
waking
taste
up
like
in the morning.
gasoline?
That's not gonna happen.
Oh, wow. All right, gentlemen. Well, we have a monstrosity of a show to get to today. So much stuff going on. Let me tell you this. Since I already gave this away to Kieran, I have to tell Thaden and Tommy now.
Then I guess I'll just go fuck myself.
Well, you already know where I'm going with this. So I asked to do the movie questions for tonight because I've been getting so sick of people going, whoever gets the movie questions always ends up winning.
Probably statistically correct. Then.
No, it
Hey,
probably is
I
statistically
have
correct.
the movie questions.
But let me
time.
let me tell you, the movie questions are going to be no walk in the park tonight. So
I hope one of the clues is that they walked in a park.
Padme Amidala. All right, guys, let's dive right into this with our favorite clip that has yet to be trimmed. The news.
Can you just click back in when he says no?
On my life has left me scarred and deformed. But I assure you, my resolve has never been stronger. In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and
Secure society. Oh my God, I love that. Every time.
He says it every week.
Oh man. See, I love that part every week. You just get off on freaking Newt Gunray.
Pretty much. That guy's
doesn't?
awesome. You know what's awesome about Newt Gunray? His brother's name, rhymes with his.
Why is that awesome?
Cause it was.
Wait, what?
It's awesome because it's dumb. What's his name? What's his name? It's Newt Gunray, and like his brother is just like Boot Gunray or something stupid like that.
I've never heard of this.
I have no
All right.
idea what you're
I didn't even know
about.
Newt Gunray had a brother.
Neither did I.
Go on with the show. I'm gonna look it up.
Is this being dug out from the old legend shit that should have never existed?
You don't like legends?
What are you talking about, Tommy? I thought you were a
No.
Legends guy.
No, wait. Oh.
No, there's
Is it
a
really?
lot of legends which should have never existed.
There's
It's
a lot
Root
of canon that shouldn't
Gunray.
exist either, but we won't go there.
I'm certainly not
no,
saying
it's
all of it was garbage. A lot of it was a lot better than a lot of what there is in the Disney canon, but well, that's subjective. So anyway, move along. I'm just making big blanket statements about.
Where's that voice coming from? I'm kidding.
Tommy's in a mood tonight.
Yes, he is, which is going to make some of these topics interesting.
Tell me there aren't weird things about the Legends universe that you think should have like never existed. They just totally fucked with
Oh, there's
everything
definitely
else.
stuff.
Dude, like
Do
you
we
said,
want to be
I was
up
gonna-
until
I was gonna-
3, 4 in the morning?
gonna say,
or-
The
Like-
second thing that happened in Legends was the holiday special.
Yeah, that's true. You know, that's you're not gonna find an argument. But like for every person that loves, say, Tatooine Ghost, which is a classic, there's gonna be people that think, oh, how dare they fucking go back there and you see what is it, Kitster, and you get to recap sort of Anakin's journey. There's a bunch of people that hate that book. Well, there's a bunch of people that love The Last Jedi, and there's a bunch of people that hate it. There's a bunch of people that love Rise of Skywalker, a bunch of people that hate it. It's all subjective, right? So, like, you're going to find groups of people that love and hate all sorts of different things. But it seems like they're trying to sort of bring everyone together Worries me, though. When you try to please everybody, you usually end up just pissing everybody
Well,
off.
we'll see what happens. Usually y'all get pissed off.
Okay, so
Yep.
Newt Gunray's brother is Root Gunray.
Root.
I am Root.
I am Root Gunray.
He also has a brother named Nemo Gunray.
Nemo.
That said they were his servants, I think. I looked that up also.
Pretty
But I mean, it's pretty bad.
So his servant,
What?
fun.
his
is
servant
this
has
from?
his last
What is
name,
this from?
and he
Disney
just
canon or
Google.
Legends?
I'm pretty sure it's Legends.
That would make sense, yeah. Anyways, gentlemen,
Yeah.
the
You can be a
news.
brother and a servant. You don't know their culture.
We got one major news item to get to today, and then a couple of rumors to get to. So the major news item, and Johnny, you and I have been, even Tommy has been around Star Wars podcasting and or YouTube shows long enough to know that whenever someone says Disney investors call, you kind of roll your eyes a little bit because more times than not, it's blown way out of proportion. And then when it's over, everyone's like, but there was no Star Wars mentioned. How could they? Not to say nothing's ever come out of these investor meetings, because it absolutely has. Like, the bloody title of the movie came from it. J.J. Abrams of The Force Awakens came from it. J.J. Abrams ended up, that's how he got sort of put into place there. That was the first time we heard of it rather than an official announcement. So there has been things where the investors call happens and stuff does drop. But more times than not, people are left disappointed. I know, because we've covered plenty of them. However, when you have Deadline and you have Variety and you have Hollywood Reporter all saying, and we're not just talking, this is not a shot at like Fantha Tracks or Kessel Run Transmissions or Making Star Wars or any of those places that are very viable places to get your Star Wars information from, places that we got the information in episode 5 about long before the episode aired. It's not just those places. We're talking like Hollywood Traits are saying, yeah, the Lucasfilm slate of projects is coming this Thursday, not because, just randomness. It's the last investors call of the year, and they're apparently laying out their 2021 and 2022 slates. So, my question to all you is, what the hell are we going to get announced here? Because, these very reputable sites are saying there's going to be quite a bit announced. Now, that doesn't mean, if they say the 2023 movie, let's say it's Taika Waititi. It's not like they're going to be like, so Taika Waititi's doing this movie, and this is what it's about. That's not happening. You'll get that with the Disney Plus shows, but we should already know what those are. Cassian's filming right now. Kenobi films in less than a month. And Boba Fett has already begun filming the little miniseries, which we all know Kieran's going to love. The point is, like, are we going to get anything we don't already know about? Like, is that a possibility here? Johnny, I want to go to you first, just because we've dealt with these investor calls so much. This is the first time, though, that I can recall a Deadline, a Hollywood Reporter, a Variety all getting behind it and saying, yeah, no, the intention's to drop quite a bit of Star Wars information in terms of Disney Plus and the movies.
Well, I mean, I think it's a tiny bit of a misnomer, because I think we're just going to get a lot of confirmations of projects we've already heard about.
That's what I'm thinking.
We're going to get, there's a Boba Fett series, and it's going to drop on Disney Plus in fall 2021. I think we're going to get things like that we already know. Confirmations of projects already in the works that we've already started hearing about that have yet to...
Much better.
But now I feel like Wilson, because this is...
But this is the way it's supposed to be.
I'm supposed to look like Wilson?
Yes. Wilson's great. It's one of the reasons why I don't want a Home Improvement reunion show. No Wilson, no thank you.
But no, I think we're going to get a lot of confirmations of projects we already have that are already in the works. Things like the Boba Fett series, and we might get more about like the Cassian series, or things of that nature, things we already know about that just have yet to be officially confirmed because there hasn't been official confirmations of anything except the Cassian series and the Kenobi series. Everything else has just been, fan speculation and things we've picked up from people filming and things of that nature. There's been no official confirmation from Disney about any of these other projects that we know to be in production because they've already started filming or are about to start filming. So I think that's what we're going to get. We're going to get a lot of that kind of stuff. We'll probably get, the animated series that we know they've been working on for the better part of the last 2 years, that has yet to be officially confirmed besides there are animated projects in the works. Yeah, we know that, but we don't know what they are. We don't know when they're going to drop, but I think those are the things we're going to get because, where in the past we've never really gotten much from these investor calls because they've been about other things. Because in the grand scheme of things, the television production and movie production is just a small part of Disney. Yes, as a fan base, we like to make a big deal about it because we're Star Wars fans and Star Wars is a huge part of it, but really it's not. We are a very small fish in a very, very large ocean that is Disney. However, 2020 is a year unlike any other. We can't have an investor call that's about park improvements or upcoming projects at parks because we don't know where the parks are going to be in 6 months, in 7 months. Yes, you can discuss reopening plans and things of that nature, but you can't really get to... There's so much less to talk about because it was already talked about. Projects that were set to open in 2020 didn't. So they're going to open in 2021. So there's... far less to talk about on a park scale and far more to talk about from everything else because that's all there is to talk about this year. This quarter. So, there's a lot more space to fill up in these investor calls right now than there was a year ago. There's also more content, but there's a lot less to talk about in the other routes. I'm sure Marvel is going to have a much larger place in this investor call than they usually have. And Disney Plus is going to have a huge part of this.
That'll be number one
because it's in a 2020 year, it's closer to 50% of the overall Disney business compared to usually where it's maybe 5% of an overall Disney business because the parks are just such huge cash cows.
It's probably more than 50% this year, to be honest.
I'm saying at least.
And it's probably going to be more next year, too. Look at what WB did. And I know we got to stay Star Wars, but, it's going to be...
Disney has to answer in some way to that. And, they kind of already did with the premiere setup they did with Mulan, so they already have sort of a built-in in-house course of action that they could take just as easily, but they're not taking that with other projects. Soul was set to be a big release for Disney this year, and instead they're just throwing it on Plus and not Premiere.
Yeah, no, there's so much that can change quickly, but the world as we know it is so much different today than it was a year ago from today. So, if I'm the head of Disney and I'm rolling out an investor's call, the focus has to be Disney Plus. It needs to be number one because guess what? Movie theaters are still not going to be normal, by summer 2021. They might be 50% capacity or something, but I don't think you're seeing 100% capacity anytime soon. And if anybody, I get it, vaccines coming, but if you don't think there's going to be bumps in the road, I think you're just absolutely
there's still distribution
rollout
yourself. That's going to take at least 6 months to get to, anywhere close to 100%, population.
Well, we're not going to. I hate to burst anyone's bubble, but we're not going to get a vaccine and it's cool, we can go out again.
No, but there's people that do think that way.
There is people that do think that way.
It'll be a lot more open about it's not going to be quite so.
I definitely don't want to. I definitely don't want to get into this topic long term.
No,
but we're in agreement. Theaters are not going to be good in 2021, probably. So.
No,
not to the degree they were in years. They'll be a hell of a lot better than 2020.
Yeah,
but
no, for sure.
It's a hell of a lot easier to go from theaters being closed for the better part of 8 months of the year to being open even at 50% capacity for 10 months out of the year. Which is, I'd say, a much closer estimate.
I was going to say, that might be generous. I don't even think it'll be open for 10 months at 50%.
I'm at the high. I'm talking internationally, right? Because small countries...
Even internationally, man, the theaters are closed in a lot of places right now. Several places in the States, a lot of places overseas. I know they're open here, but with extremely limited capacity.
I think it's going to be a much different bounce back internationally than it is in the U.S. because of the way that WB has handled this. So that's an American thing.
They may be forced to innovate as well too. They might have to. They might have to go the route of getting some plexiglass in between seats and stuff like that. They're gonna have to do something, right?
For sure. I mean, you're gonna basically, all the tools are on the table now. Who knows what's gonna happen? Yeah. Let's stick with Star Wars though in the investors' call. Let's go over to Thaden. Thaden, Johnny mentioned that we're probably just gonna hear about projects that have already been well known about for a while. Do you think that's where they're gonna go, or do you think there's a chance they might surprise us and just be like, "Oh, by the way, we're also working on this, and it hasn't leaked yet"?
I think most of it is going to be confirming stuff that we already knew. Like, we have talked about the Boba Fett series, but I haven't seen other people talk about it that much, people who aren't in, like, the Star Wars sphere. So it's still going to be news to them. It's big news to some people for sure. And I think they'll give us, like, release periods, not, like, dates, because stuff shifts all the time now. It might be, like, it'll be spring 2021 or something, like, get that kind of date. But I do think we'll see, like, we might have an actual release date for the Bad Batch, because that could be like February even. We might have something for the Boba Fett show, because apparently that's farther in production. But other than that, I think it's going to be like, you might get the episode count for the show, and you might get the show's name, and that's probably going to be it. And I don't think we're going to go all that far into the future. Like, I saw stuff saying there would be movie stuff announced, and I think maybe they'll announce which director is up first, or if it's going to be a trilogy or something like that. But we're probably not getting all that much. Like, don't expect anything near a trailer for probably any of this stuff.
It's funny you mentioned that, because one of the rumors out there is apparently they have shot footage for Kenobi and for Fett, and that Ahsoka footage we never seen about her taking on those two guys, which was never shown in the episode, maybe for her show as well. So not that we would see it necessarily, but sometimes in these investor calls they show off footage and then you hear about it later on. Like I do know in one of the investor calls last year, they showed Kylo Ren arriving on Exegol, and everybody thought that was going to be the trailer. And there was a later trailer with it, but when the initial trailer launched, it wasn't that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm in line with you guys, though. As much as I would love them to be like, yeah, so by the way, we're doing this Knights of the Old Republic show, and it's going to be about Revan, and it's going to be real good shit. I'm not expecting anything like that. If I can, just since you brought it up, I don't give a shit about the Bad Batch. I just don't. Like, I think I'll like it when it comes out. But I enjoyed their episodes, but the part I enjoyed about it the most was Anakin, right? Like, I don't know. I just, like, was anybody really asking for the Bad Batch to have their own fucking show? Like, no. Like,
Baby Yoda could be in the show, though. Maybe they're the ones who saved Baby Yoda, and that's how the show is going to be popular. I was thinking about that.
That'd be cool. All right. That'd be cool.
I wouldn't love it, but it could happen.
I don't like.
They'd be too old.
What? No, like they could have saved him from the temple or something.
Oh, yeah, sure. Why the hell not? I was just gonna say. I mean, they'd be a whole bunch of different Rexes.
No, they'd be like 80, or effectively like 80 by the time of the Mandalorian and stuff.
Like, I'm far more interested in finding out if there's anything to this High Republic animated series, because that I would be on board for.
There to be.
You don't want there to be?
Kinda. I would like for it to just be books. Oh. I like that idea.
No, thank you.
I'm sure if there's a show, I'll like it. And, I mean, I'm sure I'll like the books. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't have strong opinions either way about it, though. I'd probably... whatever.
All right, Kieran. What do you think, man? What's happening?
I don't have too much to add. I think if they do say something, it will be about the animated project, because that's really the thing that we don't really know the most about. And, I mean, I guess... it makes sense what Thaden said, that like they could announce a Boba Fett show or tell us something about that. And same as Thaden, I haven't heard I don't have a "we got this" covered report on this every day or anything like every other Star Wars rumor I get. every day I get a story from that. So I don't want to rip on them too much, but
We got this covered. It's a fucking joke there. I'll rip on it
okay,
for
fine.
you.
All right, well, we'll rip on it. Yeah, no, they like. If that's where I get all my news. Yeah, I think we'll get the animated. When is the Disney like Expo thing that they do?
That's next year. But
It's in April, right?
But no, it's usually in the summer. I'd be
It's in the
shocked if
summer?
it was in April.
I thought it was in
I think
April.
it's usually June.
Is it June?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Anyways, that's where I would think that's where they can like show you like trailers and cool stuff and really give you lots of cool information. This is probably not that. I think
Yeah, we're
people,
not
Because
I don't think it's even.
that would actually be for the fans too. This
Yeah.
is for investors. It's not
Yeah,
for
so I
us.
don't think-
Isn't this just a conference call?
yeah.
It is, but
Yeah.
like I said, a
So
lot
this is
not
not where information I think is really going to get to
This
us.
is where
'cause-
information comes out, but not.
well, I think their
not visual
information is more
information.
like, hey, we have this many subscribers and we hope to get this many subscribers in the future.
They'll
like,
tell them what's in the
That's
pipeline,
most of
but
it.
it's
They-
just a
yeah.
question of what they deem important enough to tell them what's
But
in
I
the
think
pipeline.
even if they tell investors, they're like, hey, we got an animated show and we got 3 more live action. They're not like, oh, we got Kenobi. He does a bunch of flips. Like, it's fucking awesome.
In
Like,
normal years, that's what we get. But this year, I think
Yeah.
they're going to have to be a bit more in depth because there's so much less
Yeah.
to talk about. And like I said, Disney Plus is going to be such a huge part of
yeah.
the financial.
I
report
think
for
they
2020.
basically like come on and be like, hey guys, turns out we still rule the world. Good call.
I think the best thing to do as a fan, and I know everyone's hyping up Thursday, they can't wait for it, but the best thing to do for a fan is, hope for the best, hope that you get this, friggin' Grand Slam breakfast full of Star Wars news, but expect the worst. It could be as simple as, okay, in 2021, we have the Bad Batch, we have The Mandalorian Season 3, we have Fett, and we have Cassian. Those are the 4 that are going to appear on the network in 2021, and that's it.
Want to know something funny?
What's up?
Of all those projects, I'm the most excited for the Cassian series.
Is it because of K2SO?
It might be.
Because it should be.
No,
He's-
I actually
he's great.
really like Diego Luna, but
So do I. I do like Diego Luna, but
And
again,
I'm-
it's just like, who's asking
like
for
when
a
he gets
Cassian
slapped in the
series?
face.
Do we,
in
do
that
we even
movie.
know K2 is going to
Because
be
it's
in it?
hilarious.
Yes, they did announce Alan Tudyk would be in it, but he might
Oh,
not be
well,
in it
that
right out
shit-
of the gate.
that just
But do we know Alan Tudyk is actually playing K2, or just that Alan Tudyk's in it? Because he's Alan Tudyk, he can do almost anything.
I mean, he's playing K2.
I'd be very surprised. Yeah.
That would be the
Could
dumbest.
also be someone else, but
Let's bring in Alan Tudyk, but by the way, you're not gonna play K2. You're gonna.
Would that really
Tur-
be that crazy?
turns out he's playing Darth Maul.
be weird.
Wow. Tommy, what do you think's happening, man? We get anything?
I'm, about the same place as y'all. I think it's going to be very little. The business world makes my skin crawl, so I can't say much about it. I would know if they do this over a conference call or a Zoom or whatever the hell. I think it'll be minimal. The only thing I do want to add, Johnny, I think you had said parks aren't open. I think Disney World closed down for a period of time. However, it is open. It is
I
operating
don't think I said they were
with
closed.
modifications.
Just that their business was down.
Oh, way down.
Way
down.
yeah. I mean, they've got a little bit going for them, but it sure as hell ain't as much as they want. It is what it is, though. Hopefully, we hear more about plans for Disney Plus and future film releases, that sort of thing. If I remember correctly, something was said a while back that they're focusing more on Disney Plus content than theater content. Am I correct in that?
Well, they have to. I mean, nobody knows what the theater industry is going to look like, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a colossal mess right now. Look what's going on with Legendary Pictures and Christopher Nolan. Legendary Studios, which is a financing company that has done a lot of Nolan's movies and WB movies and the HBO Max thing. Like, everything's just up in the air and a disaster right now, and nobody knows what's what. So if you have a streaming service, that's where you should be promoting heavily to get more subscribers in, and Disney Plus is definitely soaring right now. Let's keep this ball rolling, though, guys, and next up is a rumor. I dropped it in the chat yesterday, but I'm going to bring it back up, or maybe it was a couple days ago. I can't remember. So There was only 7 directors announced for The Mandalorian this season. I just assumed that meant that Jon Favreau was directing the premiere and the finale. It would make sense for him to bookend it. And it still could be that. In fact, I would still bet on it's going to be that. However, a little birdie whispered to me and to a few other notable Star Wars podcasts and shows, actually far more notable than we are, that it may in fact be one Rian Johnson directing the finale of Mando this season. And I know I know that might come as a shock to some. Kind of smart though. Like if you think about it, because let's be honest, if they announce ahead of time that Rian Johnson is directing any episode of this, let alone the finale, and then you get, just being real, 60 to 70% of the fan base that could not stand that movie that he did, you're going to create just a bunch of drama. But what if the episode, I'm just throwing what ifs out here, the episode drops and, oh my fuck, they didn't get Baby Yoda back and this person died and it was insane, and then Luke showed up at the end and it was Sebastian Stan and like just an insane episode, 1 hour episode of Mando. And then the credits pop up and the first thing that comes up is Rian Johnson. Now, I do think where there's smoke, there's fire, and Rian said he did want to direct an episode of Mando, and Rian did something out after Knives Out, but wasn't saying what. Nobody thought it was Star Wars. I got to ask you guys. I'm going to save Kieran and Thaden for last because we know they're pro Last Jedi. Johnny and Tommy. Johnny, I'll go to you first, man. What do you think of this idea? Really quickly, I just want to say I fucking love it. If it is Rian Johnson, I would love for the episode to be amazing, and then his name pops up at the end and be like, okay, all right, so you don't give him necessarily the big three. And did anybody hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it sound like?
Sounds like something on the stairs.
Sorry.
Would you like me to go check it out?
No, I'll check it out. I mean, if she's not calling us, I'm assuming it's not that bad. Look, I think it'd be amazing to have an amazing episode. Rian Johnson's the director. It'd be great. The flip side to this is this. If it's one of the, episodes of this season and a season finale and his name pops up, that's it. He's done. There's no more after that. I know people are clinging to this trilogy, which I'm pretty sure was scrapped long ago, and they just don't want to say it. But I would love for him to, I think Rian Johnson's a really great director and would love to see them. And if they did go that route of trying to avoid the backlash of fans and social media, because social media dominates everything, it'd be a cool way to have his name pop up at the end and almost some vengeance in regards to him. Johnny, you first. What do you think of the idea that Rian Johnson could direct the last episode? And or the other name that's out there is George Lucas, but I highly doubt they convinced him to do that.
I mean, I have no issue with it. You know, my issue with Rian Johnson is not Rian Johnson the director. My issue is Rian Johnson the writer. You know, and that's an important distinction for me, that even if Rian Johnson does direct the episode and it does stink, I don't think that, for me anyway, I mean, of course, you know, you're absolutely right. There are going to be fans who will be like, Rian Johnson is toxic and anything he touches turns to garbage. You know, he's the opposite of the Midas touch. You know, he's the, anything he touched turns to crap. But I don't necessarily think that, for me anyway, that blame wouldn't fall on him. It falls on the directors. You know, if the episode looks visually bad, because let's be real, you know, The Mandalorian has set a pretty high standard visually.
Yeah.
You know, and if it doesn't live up to that visual mantle, then yes, absolutely, the problem is Rian Johnson, and then I can sit there and say that you suck. You ruined something that has been awesome. But, you know, the writing is not in his purview unless they let him touch the script, in which case, what the hell are you thinking?
I don't think that's going to happen. That seems to be solely Filoni and Favreau.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, as long as they keep it the same thing as they've done to this point, where the episodes are Favreau and Filoni writing, then I have no problem with who is in the director's chair, because there's only so much you can meddle with from the director's chair, from a story perspective. Yes, you are at the end of the day the one in control of the takes, and you are the one who controls the inflections and how things are said and how things are done, and you can take it very differently from how it is on the page. But at the end of the day, I still think Favreau and Filoni are hands-on enough that if Rian Johnson went and took things completely in a different direction than they had intended, I imagine, I find it very hard to believe that it's not, that Filoni and Favreau were watching dailies every day. One or both of them are watching dailies every day.
Well, they're on set.
But even if they're not on set for some reason, because they're working on another episode, or something's being filmed simultaneously, or they're doing something else. Either way, they're watching dailies every day. Or one of them is. No matter what, there's no question that at least one of them is watching everything that is shot every day that it is shot. So they can't really go too far afield without them reining whoever in. And for the most part, I don't imagine they have to do that very often, because the directors are extremely talented. And there hasn't been... when the resumes of your director... When Carl Weathers is probably the lowest on the qualification track for directors, then you really haven't missed. Every director has been extremely talented in their own right, and I don't think they've probably had to do very much from a correction standpoint for what they wrote on the page to what is presented to them on screen. So I don't think Rian Johnson could really screw it up. He's not a bad director. He's just a terrible Star Wars writer, in my opinion.
I think he's a bad writer.
In someone else's.
Period.
He does not play well in other people's sandboxes.
Like even Knives Out. I don't know if you've seen Knives Out.
I haven't watched
it. It's wonderfully directed. I actually really like the movie, but man, some of the lines in that movie are just fucking dreadfully terrible. Like just plain bad.
I don't think it could be worse than George
I don't
Lucas.
remember any lines being bad. I didn't like sometimes Daniel Craig's weird accent, but I don't think,
that took me out of it too. Yeah,
that was the only thing that bothered me. And it's not because it was like terrible. It's just like it was quite obvious that he's an actor playing a character and not an actual, like it didn't come to life in the same way. But however, other than that, I love that movie. And I thought it was great. And a lot of the lines in that might be a little bit weird, but I remember there to kind of, like when you get the twists and stuff at the end, you're like, oh yeah, that person earlier said this. And so, but anyways, that's my take on that.
The other little bit of where there's smoke, there's fire is, and this was just revealed recently, is Dave Filoni's first live action experience came on the set of The Last Jedi. He told Kathleen Kennedy that he wanted to do some live action. This came out, I forget who had the article this week. But it's legit, and it was an interview with Filoni, so it might have been Entertainment Tonight or Entertainment Weekly or something like that. But that was his first experiences on the set of The Last Jedi. He did, and just mainly from a technical standpoint, is getting there and learning the craft a bit. And so Filoni has been practicing this little bit for a while now, and that's cool to cool to know. I might not like the movie, but at the end of the day, if you watch the making of The Last Jedi, the task that was that movie, and probably every blockbuster movie, is just tedious and just so draining. I can only imagine. So I'm glad he got to get his feet wet there. Tommy, what do you think, man? Would you be on board with Rian Johnson directing the season finale of Mando?
On one end, I got the same reservations where you've got Johnson with the story. Things could happen, accidents could happen. Yet again, it's about the same thing. I don't doubt his abilities as a director, ability to make good content. I think there's a lot we could get excited about. It's hard to make a judgment call not knowing what the episode setup is going to look like. We don't know where the story is going to be. A lot can happen in, hell, 5 minutes on The Mandalorian, never mind 15, 30, 45, 60. I could take a guess that it's just going to be a run, go get Grogu and bring him back home, go find new ship, but I don't think that's the way it's going to go down. I think there's going to be some big things happening in this season finale. I'm a little bit iffy with, the potential of Johnson directing such a setup at this point. At the same time, The Mandalorian has already had a number of directors. It's not going from one to the other, back to the other. So, honestly, I'll just straight up say, if this season finale went wonderfully and we loved it, the story takes a twist and turn, whatever, and the first thing that comes up is Rian Johnson, I'd be thrilled. I would. I'd love to see a chance for him to be redeemed, I guess, in the eyes of much of the fan base. And if this isn't in the cards, if this isn't what you want to do, maybe another project. I mean, trilogy of movies, it seems very unlikely at this point, given how everything else is going. But I'd be totally cool for an episode. Although, given the previous concerns, I would think that more of a standalone / side mission episode with a piece of plot that contributes to the overall story would have been more ideal. But maybe we'll be made to eat those words and get a real good season finale if this rumor happens to be true. I hope so.
It's only a rumor at this point, but Thaden, what do you think?
I'd be so happy.
That sounded just wrong.
Sounded erotic.
So, Rian Johnson is probably my favorite director. The only reason I say probably is because he also made Looper, and I hate that movie. But
Whoa!
I only saw it once,
what?
and it was a long time ago.
Looper?
It's
Oh my!
it just does all the time travel things.
Every franchise does time travel.
Yeah, and I don't like that. So yeah, but Knives Out is fucking amazing. The Last Jedi is my favorite movie, as I've said many times. And like, I think he'd be really good for a finale, because if there's one thing, at least I feel like he did really well, it was making things like everything that happened that was important felt really important. Like when Finn fights Phasma, I love that fight, even though it's like 20 seconds and it's not much of a fight. It's mostly Phasma just smacking Finn back. But the way it's shot and the music is all like amazing together. When Luke shows up on Crate and like starts walking out there, like, oh my God. He does a really good job at making things like epic and awesome. And yeah, I think the best thing that he does is, like, for me, is he also, like, he makes things really captivating. And with every single other Star Wars movie, just about, I kind of like, I zone out for a bit, partly because I've seen it like how many times, including The Last Jedi. But The Last Jedi, I still, like, I'm on the edge of my seat every time I watch it. And like, it's the way it's filmed a lot, and that is like, it's the stuff that he'd be doing directing the movie. That is why I love it so much. And that same thing happened in Knives Out too, after a certain point. And then yeah, like I'd be super happy to see him directing this episode. Also, it would be really funny because a lot of people would be like, "What? They let Rian Johnson back on this?" Because I'm sure inevitably someone won't like it and they'll be really loud about it. I hope it's not that many people, but like, yeah. And I'd like to see people turn around on him as a person, because people were like sending him death threats and stuff when that movie came out, which is ridiculous.
Let's be honest. This Snoke, your theory sucks thing was a bit overboard, and it really did. I know it wasn't him that came up with it. It was Steel Wars. But like, you can't be. I'm sorry. I've been a Star Wars fan probably longer than anybody here except for Kieran, just going by age. And I can tell you one of the best things about Star Wars. Yeah, I called you old. Get over it. I'm old too. No, seriously though. One of the best things about Star Wars is speculating. Speculating what happens next. That's what made The Force Awakens successful. That's what made Empire successful. And I'm sorry, as much as Rian Johnson's a great director, the dude handled that terribly and was a fucking dick about it. I know it started with Steel Wars. He literally kept doing the Snoke theory sucks thing, and it really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He had this little shtick where he literally went on about how you shouldn't, you should just drop your theories. Don't theorize. It's like, that's literally what the Star Wars fandom has been built on.
That's what the entire nerddom is based on, is speculating.
That said, though,
I feel like he knew that, and he played into it partly with some of the stuff too, like with Rey being a nobody. That's the thing that nobody guessed, and that's why he did it partly, I'm sure.
No doubt. If you want to last in this franchise, you can't have that attitude. You just can't.
If you want to last in nerddom.
I don't know. Harrison Ford's been around a while, and he's been like, fuck off with your Star Wars.
Yeah, but Harrison
Let's
Ford
be honest.
is the
Gina
epitome of
Carano's
cool.
still around.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry, who's still around?
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano, Cara Dune.
I love Gina Carano.
I don't have an issue with her. Her personal beliefs
She's
are
a pretty shit person, though.
But that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah,
But we're not going down that road.
Yeah, no. I just, the amount of people that I've seen be
But
like,
you did go down that road.
the amount of people that I've seen be like, oh, well, Gina Carano has this personal opinion on things that she's sharing on social media, which, by the way, she has a right to do. Not that I agree with her, because I absolutely don't. But it's like, okay, yeah, that totally means the character should be written off or killed just because you don't like the performer's personal opinion on something. Like, to me,
You maybe shouldn't give someone
Well-
work if they're like.
Great, then we're firing all of
transphobic and
Hollywood.
anti-mask and
Congratulations,
shit.
movies are canceled.
I have
I mean,
actually,
if they're actively doing it.
when it comes to cancel culture and stuff like that, I think I'm one of the only people I know that I'm totally like, cool, yeah, fine, throw them out.
I can
Like,
cancel you personally. Like, I'm
yeah,
not going to
for
support you. I'm not going to, I'm not going to watch things that you're in. I'm not going to, personally, I'm not going to support you, but I can't stop you from getting work.
Well, like,
I can just stop watching what you do.
yeah.
I can make that choice for myself. But I can't
know.
impose it on Kieran. I can't impose it on you. And that's what cancel culture is.
I don't think I've read all the Gina Carano stuff. The stuff that I have read, I've been like, well, that's kind of a shitty opinion, but none of it's crossed any lines where I've been like, well, fuck you.
I'm all for cancel culture if the things you do are literally criminal.
Yeah. Okay.
If the things you do are criminal
Fair
and
enough,
it's something that, if it's something that I, as general population, would get thrown in jail for, then okay, I'm all for cancel culture. But if cancel
fuck you,
culture is
Kevin
your personal
Spacey is
beliefs,
good.
exactly.
I was
That's a
actually no,
perfect
I was
example.
literally going to say that. Like, Kevin Spacey, I legitimately think is one of the best actors to ever act in a film or TV series. Period.
Yeah, and I have been like, fuck that guy.
And when he did what he did, it's like, I watched House of Cards after what he did because I just got told by everybody you need to watch the series. But other than that, I've watched nothing with him in it because like he's to do the shit that he did is just not right. But I've
Yeah, but when someone has different opinions than me, and you're right, that's the perfect way to say it, Johnny. When someone has a different opinion than me, even if it's something that I'm like, oh my god, this person's stupid, I'm not going to cancel them for that.
Well,
But
I
when
think
it's
Kieran and I know a perfect example of
it's-
that from our football league, right?
Yeah.
We know
When
exactly
it's-
the guy.
when it's crazy illegal, like terrible shit, then yeah. But like if you're like, oh, like I totally don't agree with her beliefs. Yeah, I don't know. People are raised
If
different
it's
ways.
moral, then I'm not good with it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely moral stuff with her.
I don't.
But that's your
think-
morals. Are your
Yeah,
morals
I'm-
absolute? I
I
mean,
mean,
that's an entirely different
folks,
question.
human
we
equality
want me to
is,
go
but
all
yeah.
ethics and all and philosophy. Let's keep it moving.
Well, no, I think the thing it gets to though here at this point, sorry, Tommy, is like
Who gets to decide the moral standard?
her problem is she shared her opinion
Based on-
publicly, right?
Yeah, this is true.
She came out and shared it, which allowed everybody to see what her personal beliefs were, whether you think they're dog shit or not. I personally do, but I don't care if like it's like I seen someone today who is, I'm not going to name the podcast, but their leader over there is one of the biggest hypocrites I've ever met in my life, and and he was hypocritical on another show he was just on that he randomly popped on that I was watching. And literally, they're like, well, no, don't you dare allow Gina Carano to survive this season. It's like Gina Carano plays Cara Dune, or Cara Dune, however you want to pronounce it. That doesn't mean the character should be killed off because she has what many people perceive to be dog shit beliefs. It doesn't mean you have to like the character. I don't think you have to
kill her. But like,
there's a heavy part of the fan base that are lobbying for that. Though
there were rumors about the Cara Dune show, which is like, okay, if you find out this person's got some pretty bad beliefs, don't give them an entire show to be the main character. She can stay on Mandalorian, but like, I don't know.
She's to be honest, she's not fitted to have her own
also
show.
A bad actor,
right? She's
That's an entirely different argument.
She's cool as a sidekick. Like, I love the fact that we've got her in very small doses this season. Same with Grief Karga. We've only seen them the once so far. But the times that we've seen them, it's like, okay, cool. I'm cool with that. That's great. Anyways, we're on a bit of a tangent here. Let's circle back around.
Yeah, I think before I comment on any of this again, I'm going to have to, make sure that I go back and check things. So now that I'm hearing things, I'm like, I probably haven't read it all because this seems like people are a little bit more heated than I thought. Anyways, yeah.
It just comes down to, for me, my morals are my morals. They're not your morals. That's the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody feels.
No one person gets to pick the moral standard.
I just feel like I'm gonna go down and be like, you know what, I'm okay with her, and then after the episode, I'm gonna read that she bulldozed an old folks home or something like that, and be like, oh fuck, I just put it out there that I like this person. Shit.
Man, wow. Kieran, what would it mean to you for it to pop up as Rian Johnson as the director?
Wow, we're still on that topic.
We are.
Yeah, I didn't even put it on that. I like The Last Jedi. I think that I really like The Last Jedi.
And that's all the time we have for you.
I think that
I'm so happy to hear you say that, because when you first saw it, you were okay about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and you know what? Actually, Thaden probably helped me along on some of this, because some of the parts that he gets really excited about, he'll tell me, he's like, I really love the movie because of this. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't really think about that. That's kind of cool. But anyways, I did, and one of the big things, it took me a while to get over Luke being a sissy in kind of being cowardly and not powerful. And I read the Legends canon, and I also my favorite movie is Return of the Jedi, where he just comes in like a badass, and it's his most powerful. It's the height of his power in cinematic universe. But after I got over that, I really love the movie, and I just think most of the problems have to do with the fact that it doesn't flow with the other movies. And I really like Knives Out. I thought it was a fantastic movie. So I also would like to just see him redeemed, and see it's one of those it's perfect to see that SpongeBob meme where his eyes are popping out and you got the letters going lowercase, uppercase, blame Rian Johnson for the trilogy. I feel like that's perfect for that, because it's people are just fucking crazy with how much they hate him, and it's
people still go on Twitter and reply to all of his tweets talking about The Last Jedi. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people are some people are wasting their time, and I would just like to see him redeemed as well. So
yeah,
I'd like to see him get another shot. Yeah, no, I'd like to see him get another shot. That'd be cool.
It'd be funny if I hated this shot and then you guys all liked it. If he does direct it again.
I checked in on while you guys were talking, I checked on which episodes of Breaking Bad that he directed too, and they're ones that I liked. So
cool.
Nice.
Cool. All right, guys, let's keep the ball rolling. It's time for the Lightspeed Countdown. We're going to do it a little differently this week. All right, Lightspeed countdown time. Since we got on a bit of a tangent there, this is the way it's going to go. For this week and only this week, we're going to give all of our 5 at once. So we're going to go pretty quickly through this list. And since I have no idea if Kieran's actually finished his list or not, or if he's doing his live, I'm going to save Kieran for last. So
you can just put me anywhere. I'm just going to work off.
Look at his face. He's not done.
Right.
My dog ate my homework.
All right, let me just go. My first character is Hor from Masters of Terrascasi.
That is
Because-
probably
God.
actually it.
What a horrible game.
Yeah, what? You thought I was lying? That's it. It's Hor. Next,
Uh,
Thok. He is also from Terrascasi.
He's the Gamorrean, isn't he?
He's the Gamorrean.
You're just gonna pick the
Man.
roster of Terrascasi.
I remember renting that game from Blockbuster and being like, oh, this is going to be so cool.
But they do have a cool
not.
character. They built the character. They built the game around Arden Lynn, and she's actually a pretty cool character.
AKA
She's,
Mara Jade ripoff.
she's got a robot arm.
She does.
Does Mara Jade have a robot arm?
No, but the rest of the character.
Did-
very
Wasn't
much
Mara
was
Jade
up.
actually in the game?
No.
Did
I thought he was.
I thought she was.
did
as
the
well.
Emperor have one handmaiden or several?
Leia was in the game with a double-bladed lightsaber.
Oh, sweet. I don't remember that at all.
Fucking cool.
She was dressed as the bounty hunter dude in it.
Nice.
All right, what else should we go with? Okay,
Fair.
number 3.
Oh, you're actually
Jade,
doing
nice.
your list here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right off the top of my head and see how it goes. How's it going so far?
It's something. It's something.
Okay, how about Darth Nihilus? That character's really cool. He
Hey,
looks cool.
He's cool.
Yeah, he's
Man, he's the Ryan Johnson of Star Wars video game characters. Like this badass
upsets me,
character. You can't wait to find out who he is. And nothing. He's
You know,
He upsets me just because he looks so fucking cool. and
Right?
he has a cool backstory, but then you see him do nothing except get killed by you. It's upsetting.
the way he talks.
Unless- unless you do your character build wrong.
yeah.
Let's see.
true.
Who else do
It
I
certainly wasn't Revan with a new mask like many people thought it was going to be.
like? Well,
Certainly not. No.
why don't we go with, it's number 2 will be Dash Rendar, because I thought he was really awesome when I was a kid, and I was super excited to get all the Shadows of the Empire action figures after that game came in.
Hey, if you still have any of them in the package, they're worth a pretty penny.
Are they?
They most certainly are.
Oh, sweet. I
Some
don't
of
have
them,
any.
Oh, sweet. I don't. Oh, my God.
Very good.
Okay, number 1 is actually where I would have put number 1 on the list, and it's Bastila Shan, and I really love her character, and I think I spoke before on this show about how much I really love how the voice actress did, just an amazing job on the character. She really, jumps out at you in every scene, and I think, has a really perfect emotion and attitude towards the lines that she's saying, and even though most of Knights of the Old Republic is has really good voice acting, there are parts where you're like, that person was just read off the script, like, oh, so what are we gonna do now? It just, and her character just really pops out as a genuine character. So yeah, my number 1 is my actual number 1. I like Hor too, but that's just because he's a Tusken Raider that had a name.
And a good name.
Debatable. Johnny, give me your top 5 video game characters, man.
Well, I'll say this before we start. Mara Jade was in Masters of Terrascasi.
She was. I googled it too.
Really? I don't remember that.
She was a secret character, so that's probably why you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that would explain it. I was going to say, I don't remember
I
ever.
know
I
about
didn't
that.
play
then.
that game long enough to get a secret character.
No, I rented
Yeah,
it from
what?
Blockbuster.
I have it. I own that game. It's that thing.
Anyways, list.
Go on, I'm gonna stop talking.
All right, I'll jump at number 5 is Cal Kestis. That's probably a large chunk of recency bias.
He's cool. He's got a good actor too. He's Joker, the Jedi.
I'm just distracted by the guitar that
Yeah.
suddenly appeared to my right.
I have to keep myself busy if I'm not going to talk.
Nice.
My number 4 is Mitra Zurich.
Play the White Stripes, Kieran.
Let's not have him
only
play
do
anything.
bass.
It's a little out of tune.
My number 3 is Dash. I'm just kidding.
You really got Johnny
He
going.
got me going, man. I was like, yeah. Number 2 is Revan. And number 1 is HK-47.
You
Now
did
I'll
it. You
just-
got through it.
Good job.
Did
Very
anyone,
good.
did anyone listen to any of those names?
By the way, before we go any further, look at these graphics on this game.
Oh yeah.
Like, just mind-blowingly good, right? Like,
Them go.
wow.
Han Solo's dancing in that game well before that.
At least Han's wearing like his attire. I don't know what the hell Mara's wearing. I guess she was going to a gentleman's club, maybe. I don't really know.
It looks
She
like
was
she's wearing
undercover.
Han's clothes.
Oh my god, man, this game is fucking awesome. Let's play it when we get... Dayton, I'm coming over to play Masters of Terrascossi after the show tonight.
Dayton's response is, I'm going to bed.
There's been a
I don't
really
have a top 5.
there's
I'm
been
done.
there's been a really long period in Thaden's life where when he saw me coming
He
through his
showed
door,
me all the Ernest movies. Sorry.
Well, what's wrong with that?
when he saw me
Terrible.
coming to
Everything.
when he saw me coming through the door, like the entranceway to his room, he was like, "Ah, fuck." I'd be like, "Hey, Thaden, we're watching all the Power Rangers series right now," and he'd just be like, "Oh my God, Kira, no!"
All right, you lost me at Ernest, dude. Like, that dude is awesome.
I made him
He's
watch.
horrible.
I made him watch all the original Star Trek movies, and when he was falling asleep, I pinched him to wake him up. You're like, "You gotta watch it. You gotta watch the whole thing, Thaden." He's like, "I want to go to sleep."
So you went full on Rick?
So, in other words, you were just a bully.
You went full on Rick?
Yep.
I'm known
That's
in
how I
most.
felt.
I'm known in most circles of my life as an asshole.
It's very true.
Oh, man.
All right. So who's next?
Well, you might as well go, Thaden.
All right.
Tommy can go fuck
I've
himself.
actually got my list. My 5th is Vices. I don't know. Vices Mar. That's how I say it.
Vices Mar.
Yeah, she's pretty cool, but you can't talk to her enough, so I exhaust her dialogue really early on,
And then you
it's
bang
really
her?
sad. That happens a lot in that game, though. But she's pretty cool. So,
Wait, you banged her a lot?
No.
You can bang her.
You need to get your head out of the gutter, bro.
I did all the dialogue options, and then she wouldn't talk Well, she wouldn't say new stuff anymore, and it was a bummer.
You needed to please her more. You can literally bang her on the Ebon Hawk.
I'm good without doing that.
Okay, well, I mean,
God,
are you saying you have something against blind characters? I mean,
And then
that's
she.
kind of like
I don't have to bang every fucking lady I talk to, Sean.
So you bang her and then she never talks to you again.
He was too busy trying to bang
That's
the hand.
basically what happens.
Anyways.
Is it canon
so
that you're
my
a subpar
4th
lover in that game? I guess.
Did you bang HK?
Oh, I do that. Easily. All the tools he's got.
I'll show you
Anyways.
my meat bag.
I got Kander Sordo. He's next on the banging list.
Sorry, who?
He's pretty cool.
Who?
Canderous Ordo.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
The Ordo repeater.
He's real cool as well. I like him as Mandalore quite a lot, partly just because it's cool to have Mandalore on your crew.
So do you prefer
And-
him with the mask on or off?
On armor looks cooler. People without actual faces like Mando look cooler.
It's
all
kind
the
of
time.
funny. How funny is it? Obviously, it's older, and Mando doesn't have the friggin' lung things, but like Mando looks a lot like Canderous Ordo in the armor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a decent bit. But anywho, third on the banging list is HK-47. I already explained he's got plenty of tools and penchant for violence, which is fun.
Ooh.
Makes things spicy. I don't like the turn this list is taking.
You took it there, okay?
You started calling it the banging
know
list. I
what?
asked one question about Visas, man, and then you.
It was, anyways. Next is Cal Kestis. He's pretty cool. He has like some good depth, which is surprising for me, because normally I don't like Jedi characters all that much because they're just goody two shoes characters who like do Jedi stuff, which is kind of how a lot of them are. At least that's how I see them. I usually like Sith more, which is why my number 1 is Scion, because he's like super interesting, but he's evil, so he's more interesting. And it's cool how you can kill him a bunch of times and then he keeps coming back, and that concludes the banging list.
I'm still bummed that you couldn't bang Atris.
I don't know how you pulled it off,
Scion.
Sean, but I heard Thaden's voice, but I heard your thoughts coming out of it. I don't know how you did that.
Magic.
That was a neat trick.
Magic. Weren't they like the 2 biggest bummers of that game? Like the 2 characters that are featured the most on the cover are Nihilus and Atris. And they're both hardly in the fucking game. And yet when they are, I found them cool.
Atris is cool too, but yeah, no, she's barely in it.
Yeah.
She's arguably cooler than Nihilus because Nihilus can't speak, which is cool for 5 minutes. And then it's sad.
Not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. Tommy.
With where your mind is, I don't want you to touch that one either.
Oh, what would you want
I'll
me
touch
it? Thaden's getting me off the hook a lot here tonight. I'm liking this. All right, Tommy, take it away.
That's the only thing I'm getting you off tonight.
Took it right out of my mouth. Took it right out of my mouth.
Oh, that's
I said
better.
That is the only thing, for the record.
He took it
I'm
right
not
out of
doing
your
the rest.
mouth? What?
He said it the right way, but he didn't need to say it at all.
Yeah, I know.
Why is this conversation going in such a way that Kieran and myself are the only ones with their heads out of the gutter?
All right,
Well, let's
Tommy,
be
what's
real.
banging
Your
list?
head is never out of the gutter. You might act like it is, but yeah.
Well, okay, but
And I mean, Tommy's the taco boy, so his head's always there. Go ahead, Tommy.
Number 5, I went with Iden Versio. I'm surprised I'm the only one here who's had her, but I really enjoyed her story.
He's cool.
Number 4, I went with Galen
Time out. Did you just say he's cool?
I said she's cool.
I think he
okay.
got cut off.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it might have happened, yeah.
Number 4, I went with Galen Merrick, also known as Star Killer. And for those who require the clarification, I am, the first one, not the clone. So on and so. Number
If it
3,
was a clone.
I chose Mitra Surik. I think she's pretty cool. I mean, it's a game that was never finished, although the mods do a pretty damn good job. And I think in some ways, the more all-encompassing ones have been given a semi-official nod of sorts. I think you can hit a launcher or two for a PC version, and they'll link you to it. Number 2, I chose Kyle Katarn, featuring from the Dark Forces series, Jedi Knight series. One of my favorite characters in the old canon. I really wish he was in the new somehow, but at the same time, I really would want him in the new with the way the new canon went with Jedi. Number 1, Revan. And that's all that I wrote.
Nice list. Your list and my list are actually very close. Johnny, give us your top 5, man.
I was first.
Oh, and Kieran already went?
Yeah, mine
Kieran
was
was
whore,
So it's just me. Alrighty.
fuck.
Yep.
Alrighty. 5 for me is Mitra Surik. 4 for me is Kyle Katarn. 3 for me is Galen Merrick. This list is starting to sound very familiar. 2 for me is Darth Malak, because I thought Malak was a really good villain in Knights of the Old Republic. I thought anytime he was on screen, he was compelling. And number 1 is Revan. I mean, Revan's story, come on. It's unmatchable. So there you have it. This week's top 5 Star Wars video game characters, or in Thaden's list, the bangable list.
Would it be too much
banging list.
to ask
Banging
that
list.
next week we get the top 5 more than 4 hours before the show?
It depends how insanely busy my schedule is.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you
how about
what.
we pick our top 5 now. How about we do that now? Right now.
Okay, I'm going to randomly pick a name, and that person's got to pick the top
Everybody do your
5.
banging list.
That person's got to pick the top 5 within 10 seconds. Johnny.
Fuck that.
Top
Holy
5 planets.
shit.
Top 5 planets. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
That is a good one.
Top
That
5
and it took
planets.
me less than 10
Let's
seconds.
make sure we
And he
remember
had
that.
something in his
Sean,
mouth.
That's right.
Write it down.
I have it listed right here, although my L looks terrible. But
Good.
there you have
I
top
think we'll
5
be able to
planets.
figure out that it's planets, probably.
So-
If not, just, you know.
I don't know, but okay.
Anyway.
Well, if you don't know, now you know.
I'm happy that someone else picked. Otherwise, it was definitely going to be top 5 things you were upset you didn't get to bang.
Alrighty, it's time for the council, which clearly Kieran needs some. Johnny just gave Kieran the biggest fucking disgusting side eye I have ever seen when he started doing the drums. That's right, you're caught on camera, buddy. Caught.
Exposed.
Alrighty.
I give him that side eye every week he starts doing that. So if you just noticed it now.
The Mandalorian Chapter 14, The Tragedy, which could mean a couple of things. Probably means both, to be honest. Basically, the title screen came up, and I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Baby Yoda's totally getting taken in this movie, or in this episode. So,
Hopefully, Liam Neeson comes to find him.
in I will find you, and I will kill you.
He possesses a certain set of skills.
So it was the shortest episode this season, although it didn't feel like it. It was done by the wonderfully talented Robert Rodriguez, who does action phenomenally. And basically the
children's
gist of
Spy
it
Brothers.
is we get to Tython. We don't really see much of it, which was a bit disappointing. But all in all, it was just jam-packed episode. You get Fennec and Boba show up during it, and you get the team up, and the Stormtrooper squads, and the transports, and the Dark Troopers, and you get Boba Fett in action, finally showing why he's supposed to be the badass he is. We'll hear more on that in a bit, though. And then he gets taken, and then the Razor Crest, for fuck's sakes, I loved that ship, and it's gone. Gone like Donkey Kong. And Donkey Kong's gone. When's Donkey Kong done anything recently?
What?
You looked at me.
Because that didn't make sense.
To Donkey Cast.
I don't understand that reference.
It didn't make sense.
Donkey Kong vanished after, like, Donkey Kong 64, at least to me, they
Donkey
did.
Kong had a game come out like a year ago.
Oh, well, good for it.
I don't know what's happening.
Anyway,
Gone like Pong? Would have made more sense.
we see him.
Button.
Grogu calls out clearly, and we'll get to who was on the other end or whatever soon, because it wasn't just no one. They don't do all that and have him. Oh yeah, by the way, he reached nobody. That's just not happening. I'm sorry. This isn't Ryan Johnson. Sorry, but bluntly, in Ryan Johnson, let's be honest, that'd be totally what Ryan Johnson would do. He'd be like, yeah. So even though we got this this cool blue little stream and we see Baby Yoda going like that. It turns out all he reached was Dexter Jetster. So, yeah, anyway.
I can't totally deny that.
That's what Ryan Johnson's message is. Like, sometimes calls fail. Like, fuck off.
Didn't look like it was failing.
Dropped
turns out
like
all-
a Skype call.
Turns out all that was on the other line was like waiting music. Anyways, let's
Put on hold.
Let's dive into this. Usually we save his bit for last when we come to Boba Fett topics, but I feel like we just need to sort of clear the plate and allow Kieran to bat lead off. Because I've been waiting for this. Let's see, when Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like 4 or 5 days now. So,
And several weeks since Boba Fett first showed up.
all right, so let's hear it,
Actually,
Kieran.
over a year since Boba Fett first showed up.
I wasn't sure if I was buying the hate you were
Let me
selling in the
just,
chat.
Let me just adjust. All right. So, this episode, it was a piece of shit. It was terrible. It's fucking awful. Like, Did any of you guys score this? And is anyone here going to score this higher than 7.5? Okay, all right. So Sean, I got an awesome show for you. I want you to watch it. Okay, it's going to be awesome. Okay, you're going to really love it. You should watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Great show.
Season 7 of whichever stupid fucking turbo dinosaur piece of shit.
Season 7's terrible. I think that was like Lightspeed Rescue. No.
Yeah,
No, that's
watch,
Series 7.
You know what?
Season 7, I think, would be Space.
Watch Lightspeed Rescue or,
Space
whatever
is
it's called. I don't know. Dino Thunder Crash,
There was
fucking
3 seasons of regular.
piece of shit.
And then Zeo.
They're over there debating which Power Rangers.
You poked a bear here.
So
We gotta
anyways,
figure it out.
here's the deal. That was just like an episode of Power Rangers. There was very little story. Basically, they're like, okay, cool. Like, let's go meet up with the Jedi that we talked to. And then they get interrupted by people. Fighting happens. And then Grogu gets captured. That's the entire episode. There's nothing else. It's fucking, there's like at least 20 minutes of them fighting stormtroopers. And if you watch the whole thing again, the stormtroopers are even worse than regular. Like there's a whole bunch of shots of them running to within 10 feet of someone so that they can try to shoot them. When would you ever run as close as I am across the table to Sean to shoot him? I would shoot him from fucking like 50 feet away. Like what? Why would I run all the way up here to get shot? Like it doesn't make any sense. Also, one troop carrier comes down, it's about the size of this fucking room, and it's got 30 stormtroopers in it. Then another one comes down, and it's got another 30 stormtroopers in it. Like, what the hell? Like, there's no way that many stormtroopers fit in that. Boba Fett disappears from the fight. There's only 3 people in the fight for the stormtroopers. One guy disappears for like 10 minutes and comes back. Who didn't follow that guy? Why didn't someone shoot him in the back while he's running away? There's a shot where he's over here, and then the guy's like, shoot at him, and he hides behind a rock, and then he fucking teleports behind the guy and jumps on him. It doesn't make any sense. It's the very next shot. It shows him like turn around behind a rock, and then he just jumps out from like fucking across the screen. He's like, ha, I gotcha. It makes no sense. Every single stormtrooper that tries to attack them runs without a fucking gun in their hand most of the time. There's a bunch of times where a stormtrooper runs towards them with no weapon. It makes no sense. None of the fighting makes any sense. The kick-ass part that Boba Fett, where he beats up a bunch of stormtroopers with the gaffy stick, like, it doesn't make sense when you watch it. If you watch the fight with Chirrut in Rogue One, if you're a martial arts fan or if you're someone who does any self-defense or knows anything about fighting, you really appreciate that because everything he does makes sense. It's like he grabs someone and he turns this way so that the person with the gun aimed at him, can't shoot him. But this makes no sense. The fighting made no sense at all. People just like walked in like to get fucking whacked in the face with no weapon. Why would you approach a guy with a big fucking staff if you have no weapon? And if you have a gun, why would you be that close? You'd fucking shoot him from farther away. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing about the fight made any sense. They made Boba Fett look really cool, except if you realized that the fucking guys that were attacking him were basically putties. They fucking walked in going, woo, 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 and they fucking got smashed upside the head. It made no sense. The fighting made no sense. And if you take the fighting out, it's like a 5-minute short where they're like, oh, Grogu, go call the Jedi. Cool. Woo, power up. And then fucking Dark Troopers come down and they take them. And that's it. It's fucking, like it was a terrible episode.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's terrible. I watched it, you know what? And when I first watched it, I was being super like objective because I saw Slave One. I was like, fuck, this is it. It's going to happen. I'm going to die. So I was like, you know what? Better calm down. It might be all right. And I was wrong. And I watched it, and when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, it's okay. Timora Morrison, is that his name? Timora Morrison?
Yep.
I always want to say it wrong. Did a fantastic job acting. I liked the way, I liked how his lines were delivered. I liked the overall vibe of the character. So that was fine. And I was like, you know what? I could get into this. And then fighting happened. And I'm really overly critical about fighting because I understand fighting. So when something makes no sense at all, I see it right away. And 20 minutes of this episode made no sense. It was terrible. It's terrible. And shame on you guys for rating it above. I'll give you up to 8. Anyone who rates it 8 or more, you guys are fucking children.
Hey, Kieran.
Tommy's going to jump on it first.
Hey, Kieran.
Yeah?
Are you hungry? You're
I'm
not
kinda
yourself
hungry,
like
actually.
you're
I'm
hungry.
kinda hungry.
You need a Snickers.
You guys,
God
you guys, give your opinions now.
Holy
Okay.
shit, I think I'm
Okay.
watching a fucking Snickers commercial.
So,
that was good.
Kieran, I love you, buddy.
Satisfies.
I feel like we had a bot.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Shout out. My longtime
Andy's in here.
old best friend is in on the chat. Andy Jardine. My best friend since I was 5.
I'm really happy to see that you like
And he's
the
a
Last Jedi. Andy.
he's a bigger Star
Makes me
Wars
happy.
fan than me. I can't say he's a bigger Star Wars fan than anyone else because I don't know how much, but he's a bigger Star Wars fan than me.
All right. So, Kieran, I love you, buddy. I felt like we had a bonding moment before the show today when you first came over. I thought it was cool.
Dope.
So I don't want you to take any of this personally. So now that I've said that, you can't get offended because that's the way that this works, right?
That is how it works.
All you have to do is say no offense, and you can't take offense.
Correct, right? Right?
Just remember before you start, this room is full of a bunch of your collectibles and not mine.
Not the Mando book. Leave the Mando book alone. Holy fuck, that was one of the biggest dog shit takes I've ever heard in my life. Holy crap. Not only am I pretty sure you're full of shit about the stormtroopers running without a gun, now I need to go back and watch a third time, because if they did do that, that's just dumb. I don't think they did. I think like you're literally just trying to... I feel like if it was, let's just say it was, I don't know, Abo Fett. It's Abo Fett, or
I'd like
Don't
that
give him
last.
don't give him last name Fett.
Oh, you're right. Okay, it can't even be Fett. Okay, so let's just say it's I don't know, Jar Jar Binks. I feel like you'd be like, yeah, that was badass. See how much of a badass Jar Jar's become? That looked great. And I can't help but feel, just maybe, a little bit of your anti-Boba Fett bias is showing off here a bit. Look, it's all subjective, by the way. Just because I'm saying his take was dog shit doesn't mean that it factually is. It's just my opinion on it.
My opinion of your opinion is you're an asshole.
Man, that was such a badass moment. Such a way to give it, like, I think Theoden and I spoke to you about this. Like, we literally seen Boba Fett do more badass shit in 15 minutes in this episode than the rest of his movie appearances combined, period.
Mostly, he just shot fucking 20 feet above Luke several times before he got killed by a blind man.
Also, by the way, you're saying the stormtroopers were worse than normal, when in fact the stormtroopers were they never hit shit, but in this episode, they were belting the crap out of Mando. Like, he gets hit 6, 7 times in the episode, and if it wasn't for the friggin' Beskar, he'd be dead. So,
They can only hit things wearing plot armor.
You know what I found funny is I was watching this review the other day, and it was conveniently of another guy that hates Boba Fett, so I knew he was going to hate the episode. And he's like, have you ever seen stormtroopers look so bad? Like, they had 1 or 2 people in stormtrooper costumes and the rest were CG. I'm just like, what? I'm like, the only possible CG stormtrooper you see there is the one that gets run over by the boulder. That one's debatable CG. Probably is CG. But the rest of it, like, it's all practical. And it's like, wow, you're really reaching to bash this episode just because Boba Fett's in it. I found it badass. I think it was one of the best 2 or 3 episodes in the entire series. Easily. It was the best action we've seen in the series.
He all right over there? It sounds like he's dying.
He is. I just, by the way, to your buddy Andy, welcome. Hopefully you check out our show every Tuesday, as long as Kieran doesn't scare you away. No, I mean, I love the episode. We'll get into who we think he called later, but I really feel like Kieran's reaching here, and now but to verify this, I legitimately need to now go back and watch to see if there's stormtroopers running without guns.
Terrible to go back and watch this shit fest.
And so. And let's read one of the chat comments from your buddy Andy, who says, sorry, Kieran, kind of agree with Sean here. I mean, I get people thinking Boba Fett is overrated, which is fair. He absolutely has been. Because all he does is stand there in the OT. Very true. But this is why the episode rules. We finally get Boba Fett. We get the long promise of Boba Fett, being a badass, and they finally delivered. Don't worry, Kieran. If they kill him off in 2 episodes, I'm sure you'll be thrilled.
Only if he gets eaten by another animal and shit out again. Because I'm really obsessed with seeing Boba Fett as a piece of shit.
To your credit, though, Tim Morrison in that episode, oh my God, so good.
Can't deny that he was good.
And for the people online that are going on, look how fat he is. The dude's in like his late 50s or early 60s. Like, it's not 2002. He was also wearing it over the robe. Yeah. So what? People get out of shape. Guess what? It happens. Deal with it. Not everybody needs to be a fucking perfect slim 10. Jeez, fuck. Thaden, give us your thoughts on the episode. By the way, I'm giving that episode like a 9.2.
So I'm watching.
How much of that is just because
for the
Kieran?
stuff that Kieran said.
Totally 9. I think it's the second best episode in the series.
Okay.
I was just watching for those things that Kieran said, and they aren't constant, but he's totally right. There is a part where it very much looks like Boba teleports behind some people who he just saw in front of him and who just saw him.
He's a ninja.
And there are parts where stormtroopers run up to him, like right next to him with a gun, then go to aim, and then he attacks them. And I didn't see everything, but I saw one stormtrooper run at him with no weapon in their hand. Though he does knock the weapons out of their hands with the gaffy stick a bunch of times.
I'm watching it right now. It's still shit.
Yet you're watching it, so their goal is accomplished.
Yes.
I'm okay with supporting the series.
Uh-huh.
It's okay.
And it did feel weird when Fennec Shan goes and sees the turret. She aims at it for 3 seconds, and then she's like, instead of just shooting the guy.
Okay, that part I agree. That part I didn't get.
I'm okay with that.
Sean agrees with your
to show us.
Sean agrees with your criticism of Fennec Shand. But Boba Fett teleporting.
I mean, Obi-Wan teleports in friggin' episode 2.
He learned that from some other asshole who got swallowed by a Sarlacc.
But
fucking taught him the
all that
secrets
said,
of teleportation while he was there.
The action still is really awesome. It's actually only 10 minutes of action, which I was kind of surprised by, because there's 10 minutes before and after, which includes credits. So it includes opening and closing credits, so it's less than 10 minutes before and after, but it's 10 minutes of fighting. So yeah, but the fighting was awesome. Boba Fett was really cool. Fennec Shand was awesome. I was really happy to see her back because I didn't want her to be dead after one episode because I like that actress a lot. And also another funny thing I noticed, though, during this, all the stormtroopers run right next to Boba or try to punch him, I guess, like that one guy did. But with Fennec, they shoot her like from way far away because she has a gun and Boba doesn't. So it seemed like it was kind of strange when you think about it. But I don't know. It didn't bug me. Didn't bug me when I watched it. It's just kind of funky stuff. And I liked the whole... I think it was done really well, like that large portion of action in the middle. It's like more than a third of the episode. Because they called the episode The Tragedy, so the whole time I was pretty worried. So, like, that all that stuff was happening, and I was just like, oh, God, what's going to happen to Baby Yoda? Like, are they going to call someone who's bad? Is, like, some Sith kind of thing going to show up? Like, something like that. And it ended up being the simple route of Baby Yoda was taken. But, yeah, that was still pretty good. And the other part of the tragedy, the Razor Crest was destroyed. I like that ship, not a ton, but it was still pretty cool, and it did some really cool stuff in this season, less so in last season. And even worse, his pulse rifle's gone. I said that with an accent. His pulse rifle's gone. That awesome sniper thing that disintegrates people. I love that thing. He used it like once in this whole season, and it was on the Crate Dragon. We didn't get to see it do anything, really.
Speaking of that, my better half was asking your brother last night about if she should get me a Nerf gun pulse rifle, which apparently was just stupid expensive.
Really?
And
I didn't see the price.
And I'm glad. Apparently, he sort of said, it's kind of expensive for that. Man, would I have been pissed if she got that at that price? I would have been like,
how much money is it?
No, it's after taxes and shipping, it was like $160.
$160 after, everything.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
No,
and it doesn't look amazing either. So if you're gonna get it,
no, it does not look amazing.
It's a Nerf gun still.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I got to take over a bunch of this shit, but he also shoots the ship that runs into the other ship. And they're like, oh, cool, badass. And he's like, I didn't even mean to do that.
That was awesome.
I actually wanted the other ship to escape.
Pretty funny because you see him aim at the wrong ship too, like the one that the missile doesn't hit. And then I was like, why didn't you aim at the top one so it hits the other? And then it does that. And
so
then
he's
like,
basically I actually wanted the other one to escape. I'm actually shit.
Maybe he was going to hit that one with a tracker, or maybe he put a tracker on it when he went in to get his armor. You don't know.
Oh man,
No,
you know what's crazy is like Tim Morrison actually brought some respectability to Boba Fett, which is awesome. The same way Sam Witwer brought some respectability to Darth Maul, and Karen still hates them.
Yeah, he does. I want to address my one kind of issue with this. It's a kind of thing. Like, it's not a significant problem. It did feel to me like they kind of shoehorned Boba in there. I know he was like, it makes sense that he wants to get his armor, but how did he know where Mando was? I guess he could have placed the tracker on his ship.
No, it tracks
but they
the
didn't
armor.
explain that, which felt weird. And how did he get the Slave One? Which that felt kind of weird too. But I know that stuff can be explained later. It just felt weird right now. And it also was weird that his personality was pretty different because he's like
near-death experience,
it's basically
mate.
like, yeah. But, like, we didn't see him go through that stuff, so right now it feels weird. I think a Boba Fett show that shows that time will totally help with that.
Until he turns around in Episode 8, and they think they've rescued friggin' Grogu, and he, like, shoots Mando and takes Grogu for himself to take him somewhere else.
This is the other thing I was thinking earlier. He would have to be keeping Fennec Shand in the dark about it, but...
She gives a look when he talks about if you go back and watch that episode when he talks about rescuing the kid, she like gives this sort of guilty look down at her feet that's extremely noticeable. That's why I was like, maybe he hasn't completely turned coat.
And he always worked with the Empire before. He was, out for himself a lot of the time, so that would also explain the sudden change of heart if it wasn't near death kind of thing. And when when he has Fennec aiming at Baby Yoda, I mean, he backs down kind of quickly, and his goal could have led him closer to Baby Yoda, or Fennec Shand could have gotten to Baby Yoda. Well, Grogu, sorry, Johnny. He was getting his armor from Mando if Mando agreed or something. Like, he could be, like, not on Mando's side. I don't totally know.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the Mando thing, though, I feel like he's drawing on his history with Jango, because obviously his dad meant a lot to him, you know?
Yeah, I liked thinking that too.
So, I mean, I'm assuming, kind of like what you said, this little Boba Fett mini-series is going to, you know, he clearly looks worse for wear. I mean, I think we're going to see some changes.
Pointed out he has no eyebrows.
No, he does not.
Also, I liked the explanation for both him and Jango being, like, sort of Mandalorian. It feels like Jango was a foundling who maybe kind of broke off, and that's why you get the comments about him not being a real Mandalorian, or also because he's a foundling anyways. Maybe that's how.
Oh my God, Disney Star Wars is making more Legends content canon again.
Yeah. And, but Boba wasn't Mandalorian exactly. He's the son of, cloned son of a Mandalorian, but he says he never took the creed, which is cool because Boba doesn't feel like someone who would have taken the creed. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they struck.
In fairness, he didn't say that. He said that he doesn't serve anybody.
That feels like he's saying he didn't.
Also, something you need to bear in mind that might be getting glossed over a little bit here is that Boba Fett didn't even have the opportunity in so much gray area to get to take the creed. His father died when he was very, very young.
That's also true. He could be like his own form of Mandalorian, but I like the idea that he's not exactly a part of Mandalorian culture. I like that more than him being a part of it. But that's my thoughts. They could change that, and I'd probably still like it, maybe less, but maybe more. I don't know. It depends what they do. And yeah, they were vague enough about it with him saying, I serve no one. He could have taken the creed or something, but I definitely read it as, for now, it's a no.
Before we get Tommy and Johnny's thoughts on the episode, wouldn't it be hilarious if, like, all season 3, Mando doesn't get a new ship and he's just riding around with Boba Fett for the entire
People
series?
Are thinking that.
Oh, poor kid.
That might kind of happen.
Oh, man. Tommy, give us your overall thoughts on the episode, my man. I can't stop watching Kieran Pout over here.
Yeah.
It is a little distracting.
So
Just
I'm not
wait
going to
until I can go
pretend
home.
that the episode was perfect, because it wasn't. What it did that I enjoyed, I loved the hell out of it, I'll tell you that. I feel like the presentation we got of Boba Fett in this, first early stage was absolutely badass.
Boba Fett? Where?
Okay. But yeah, there were a few weird things during the combat that I kind of raised my eyebrows at, and just the direction it went with that. And I feel like this is the first real indication we got that Fennec was actually still alive. I wasn't really, so I wasn't exactly overly surprised, like, oh my God, you were dead. But it's like, oh, okay, that's nice, I guess. I mean, another returning character, okay, why the hell not? I'm a little bit curious as to what direction they are going to take Boba. It was cool that he had the chain code and you show where his lineage is. And if I recall correctly, someone did a translation based off of the old alphabet and whatever, and that ended up translating into, Jango drew his connection to the same person that he did before. I think his name was Jaster, if I recall correctly.
It's same from Legends. Yeah.
Yeah, I never read that comic, but I've read all Wikipedia articles and that sort of thing. You know, yeah, I love the action. I love the way they presented them. The Dark Troopers were great. The Moff Gideon scene playing with a lightsaber, toying with Grogu was a little bit odd, but whatever. And just to have him stunned and him put in shackles, okay. And, you know, last but not least, for what this episode did, and I know there were circumstances, but still, it was just too damn short.
Yeah.
I wish it was longer. You know, you jump right on over to Cara Dune like that, and it's like, what just happened here? And there were just some weird pacing things with that as far as I was concerned. The action was cool. Boba Fett was great. You know, when you get that line, I'm just some man trying to make my way through the galaxy. If I follow before me, like, it's the line.
He said that to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That line feels so funny because when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's his son, but it's the same guy saying it technically,
right?
Like, in real life.
So
it's a weird feeling.
I mean, it's kind of the same guy in the show too, since Boba Fett is in fact a clone. So
that's true.
Tommy,
I think I'd give the episode an 8.
An 8?
I think that's fair. You know, I was leaning towards 7.5, but I think I liked it enough that I'm going to give it an 8 because it might be the only episode, maybe the second episode I actually revisited already. Usually I like to wait till they're all up and then I binge them, but whatever.
To your point on the I knew this was coming. To your point on the episode shortness, I did see that there was a reason given is Robert Rodriguez wasn't originally scheduled to direct this episode, and he was like a fairly last-minute replacement, but his schedule was already really busy, so they had to trim down the 19-page script to fit into his schedule. So you did have probably 5 or 10 minutes cut out of this episode that normally would have been there. Andrew says Kieran just texted me in regards to who ends up answering Grogu's calls through the Force. He hopes that it's Jango Fett with his head on top of a spider legs.
I hope it's his body with spider legs coming out of the neck.
That sounds like one of your fever dreams there, Kieran.
Oh man.
Beyond all of that, though, I gotta tell you, I'm really curious as to how this is going to go. How long are they going to keep Boba Fett in the story for? They're not. Well, I hope they don't fucking kill him. We've wanted him back in the canon alive for how many years now? It'd be a real fucking kick below
Boba
the
Fett's
belt.
back.
Imagine
Boba Fett's dead.
If they get Ryan Johnson back and he kills.
Oh
Boba
no!
Oh my God, don't fucking play that game. Don't fucking
Oh
play that game.
God!
Imagine the Tuesday after that, the episode we're gonna have.
His next ship. There are a lot of people who want him to get that ship.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson comes back, directs episode 8, and they kill Boba Fett and Bo-Katan in the same episode. Oh man!
Actually, I'd be really sad about Bo-Katan.
If we get to do a show after Boba Fett dies, like I'm bringing cocaine. We're gonna have a great time, man. We're just gonna fucking. The show's gonna start with my face just in front of the camera, like.
And then it'll.
We didn't get a reaction out of Fett though when. Jaron mentioned, Jedi, that sort of thing. The last time we know Boba having, maybe not the original trilogy. It wasn't painted as much, but, in the prequel trilogy and the Clone Wars and all, he's illustrated as hating Jedi because, Windu decapitated Jango.
Yeah, well, Windu went out the window, so...
Yeah, he did. So I'm wondering if we're going to see some clarification if that hatred is still burning, or is it like time heals wounds sort of thing.
Luke shows up in episode 8 and Boba Fett kills him, and it's like, no, it turns out Luke in actual episode 8 was...
he was a Force ghost all along!
Was a clone. It was actually Luke.
How How about Grogu?
I mean, hey, that would be a pretty interesting interaction if Luke Skywalker shows up and Boba Fett's there.
It was
last time I saw you, things
it
went
was
pretty
actually
bad.
Jake Skywalker.
How about Grogu calls Mace Windu and Mace Windu comes and cuts his head off?
Oh my god.
And
I like this.
oh man,
No, it's,
If
like,
they
it's
were
like
going to
Force
bring
Ghost
Windu
Windu
back, they
looking
should
at
have brought
Boba
him
Fett
out
like,
back during
"Didn't
Rebels,
I
that
cut your
area. I mean,
head
they had
off?"
concept art for him, right?
All right, Johnny, quickly, because I just took a look at the time, and holy crap, have we run way late. Your thoughts on the episode, man?
Well, I mean, I clearly didn't hate it as much as Kieran did, but I don't think anyone did.
I don't know if that's possible.
No, I mean, I didn't nitpick as much as Kieran did about the battle sequence, but I did feel a little let down by it. Like, I felt like most of the episode was just showcasing Boba and, well, I can't even think of her name at this exact second. Somebody help me out here.
Fennec.
Thank you. I felt like it was just showcasing them, which I felt was weird because they literally had the stormtroopers bottlenecked coming off the ship, and they're shooting every third stormtrooper, every fourth stormtrooper. It's like you never miss what you're aiming at, but you can't hit all these stormtroopers in a bottleneck. And Boba Fett's the same way. That felt a little okay. They were literally coming out of a bottleneck. I mean, I'm sure everyone has played a shooter video game and just had enemies kept coming out of a bottleneck. You just mow them down where they stand.
In fairness, Boba Fett only had a one-shot rifle.
Well, okay, but
he should have used his
he
magic
had that.
fucking powers to teleport behind them.
we clearly see Fennec is not a one-shot weapon.
No.
So, I mean, at the very least, she should be
It is
taking
still only
out...
one shot.
Maybe her new
sense.
cyborg tummy is causing her aiming issues.
Yeah. As
So-
much as I'm happy she's back, that was weird.
That was a
Yeah,
little weird, but...
yeah.
I mean, I didn't...
Boba Fett is now a surgeon, Dr. Boba.
God, I
That's
hope
Dr.
Jawas
Fett.
fixed her.
But, I didn't nitpick quite as much of that. Like, yeah, it felt a little awkward. Like, I didn't... It felt less like a Mandalorian episode and more like a Boba Fett episode. Because it was more about him and his things. And I enjoyed him and his things, but, it was a little too focused on them for me. Like, whenever we saw Din in this episode, it was like there was an 80% chance he was getting knocked on his ass. Like, okay. He couldn't handle the Force Shroud.
Well, nobody could, but yeah.
No, but, I mean, he's going up against this Force Shroud 3 times. Like, learn your lesson after the first time, dude.
No, I disagree with that.
like
If you,
that.
No, if you have children, which is basically what he looks at in, like, Kieran, if that's your kid, I know you don't like the episode, but if that's your kid in there, are you not trying again and again and again to get in there?
Does my kid like Boba Fett?
But then he goes ahead and just leaves the point. Like, I'll protect you, but I'm going to run down the mountain where I can't actually protect you.
Okay,
I
but if
think
you,
eventually he did realize.
It was like, I get protecting him and trying to get him out. I'm not saying he shouldn't keep doing that, but I mean, he knows he's going to get tossed away by that shroud. Communicate with, because that's where he's gotten his abilities, is communicating with Grogu, talking to him. His voice has been Grogu's center. So I can, yell at the shroud, communicate with him, call for him, but you're going to get knocked 10 feet away. That doesn't help you. Try something else. Shoot at the shroud above his head or something. Do something different.
he just kills Baby Yoda, shoots
I
him
said
right in the
shoot
head.
above him, not at him. Like, just
Also, why didn't he pick his jetpack back up?
that's the next thing I was going to say. Like,
It was a plot device.
think
That's why
it's
Boba's like,
defense where it was
put the
entirely-
jetpack on the
it was
ground.
entirely to allow the Death Troopers to escape with him.
Yeah.
Because if he has that, he's going to get back to that
Yep.
point, and at the very least engage with them, which still could have allowed them to escape because there was 4 Death Troopers, and even if Din takes out 1 or 2 of them, there's still 2 others to escape. So they still could have had that scene and actually had it. better.
Welcome to Hollywood, though, people. There's plot devices everywhere in every movie ever made.
Yeah.
Does anyone else think it was funny that it seemed like he reached the top of the peak like 3 times too?
Yeah.
It's like, he's there. Oh, wait, no, he's not. He's there. Oh, wait, no, he's not. And it's like, he's there. And then they flew away and he was just like, kind of watched them go.
He actually does. Yeah, he actually does get there 3 times. You're right.
And then I was taken
amazing.
out of it when, like, you can clearly see the ship that that Gideon is on through Din's mask. Like, Din can see the ship, but it, when Boba goes up and sees it, it's the Empire. The Empire is back. Why is that news? Why is it news that the Empire's like, okay, you're in the Outer Rim?
Why is it news when you
that's
just
probably the
fought
biggest
two
ship.
or three different transports of stormtroopers? Yeah.
But like we know.
I think that's probably like the biggest ship they've seen in
He's like,
quite a while.
the Empire's back. I thought all those other guys just borrowed stormtrooper armor.
Like we already know the Empire is still operating in the Outer Rim.
No, we don't at this point though, because this is post
Yes, but
aftermath.
we know that's what, like, when we see the X-Wings that, recruit Cara Dune, we know they're out there to deal with the Empire. So they know that the Empire is
not
operating
necessarily.
to some degree in the Outer
We've
Rim.
don't
seen
necessarily know
lots of
they're
stormtroopers
doing
already.
Like, it doesn't seem like this should be surprising that the
Boba
Empire
Fett's probably
still
been on
exists.
Tatooine for 7 years, which they probably have no presence on, right?
Well, I will say this, though. Boba seemed a little too excited when he realized that the Empire was there. Like, that just seemed a little bit like, you sound excited about this. Then why does this news excite you?
I get,
Boss, he's alive.
what I think was it Thaden that was saying that it's probably the biggest ship that he's seen for the Empire, or Tom. So yeah, like it's not a Star Destroyer. It's not that big, which I'm positive they're saving for Thrawn.
Oh, yeah.
The Star Destroyer you're going to see is going to end up being the Chimera. But it makes me believe that Episode 8 is probably going to take place on that ship, but maybe not.
It was just an episode of awkward expectations. Like, you got no payoff from Grogu calling out in the Force.
Well, you were never getting that. Like, what were they? Were we going to get teleporting point 2? I mean, imagine if just someone teleports there right away.
No, but
I had a cool idea about this. I thought he should have called a Chiss. It's like a Chiss person who can do the skywalking thing should have heard the call and come through, and then that ties to Thrawn and stuff. And then that wouldn't mean that Boba Fett had to awkwardly team up with him and drive him around. It could have been the Chiss person who's like, hey, what's up? And then maybe kind of justify it a bit. I would have liked that a lot.
it was the little things that took me out of it. Like, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but why was Grogu doing an ohm? Like, am I the only one that noticed that? Like, that just looked weird.
It's the
That
universal.
looked fine.
It looked weird for him to be doing that.
Yoda did it in the Clone Wars, so I mean,
Okay, but
I thought it looked good.
It took me out of it for a second. Like, is he doing an ohm right now?
It didn't bother me too much.
It's just we'd never seen him do it before.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it could, it
First
could
time for
easily be
everything.
explained that he was trained by Yoda, which we assume to be the case.
you trained by several of them probably.
But I mean, let's assume at some point Yoda was one of them.
Could
So
you-
he probably saw Yoda doing it. So I
It
guess I
seems
could
like
see-
Yoda ran the kindergarten there, so.
Exactly.
Let me throw this one out there for you guys before I ask you who
Maybe
you
it
guys
was not in
think.
kindergarten.
So
Sorry.
everybody has been saying that almost all these series that they're going to do in some way or another are going to tie into one another, even the limited series. So Cassian, Kenobi, even if they're minor parts. What if Kenobi, there's been rumors that he's going to have to go off planet for some reason. What if Kenobi's the one that takes Baby Yoda away? I mean, not from the temple, but has to go rescue him from the Empire or something. And that's how it could tie into that.
I don't know if I want to see a baby Yoda, like, an even
Would he,
tiny-
though?
I think
would he
he'd just be the
tinier?
same if he was
Yeah.
already training.
He would be
How-
30 years younger,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I mean,
I
he
guess it
still would
doesn't
be.
matter.
slim.
How much is that
Tinier.
really in, like, in
He could
that
be like a
species?
1-year-old instead of like a. Well, no, he's.
No,
Still
he'd
like
be
a
he'd be
1-year-old.
about 20 years younger because the Kenobi show is supposed to take place halfway between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Oh, okay.
So
I was thinking if it was right after, but
I
yeah.
mean, the only problem I'd have with that is, well, why did Obi-Wan not put him somewhere safe? Like, if his goal in that series is rescuing
Story can tell you
Grogu,
that.
Yeah.
But we know that Grogu went through a period of just being on his own and being unsafe in the darkness. Like, that's what Ahsoka said.
No, I don't think that's what that means at all. I think we're going to find out that the Empire had him. I think we're going to find out.
It
Like,
was a dark time in his life because bad stuff was happening.
I
but
mean, look
don't
what he
know
was doing to the
or-
stormtroopers. I'm assuming Sidious had possession of the guy. I would be stunned if it doesn't turn out that way. Sidious or an Inquisitor or something. The guy's using dark side force powers as if he was trained in it.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I that was another thing that I kind of took. I don't necessarily say took offense to, but it made sense because, you saw Ahsoka made a point of talking about him being on the precipice of good and evil. It's very easy for you to imagine him falling a bit to the left and into the dark side and using some dark powers and using the Force choke. And okay, it's a little dark for you to be using there, little dude, but makes sense because I think that was more fueled from anger and rage. But where he learned that from is a question he has yet to be answered. But
I don't know if you have to learn how to choke someone.
Yeah, that's it. Who knows, right?
Through the Force?
Anyways, guys, we got to keep this ball rolling here. So quickly, there's no way they do the whole, Force call and not pay it off. It's getting paid off. I will bet someone money right now that it's getting paid off. I'll any big takers here, I'll bet. The question is, who's calling? Is it going to be a new character that we don't know? Is it going to be Cal? Is it going to be Ezra? Or is it going to be Luke Skywalker? In my opinion, they've basically backed themselves into a corner now where it basically has to be Luke Skywalker. Filoni's basically come out and said Ezra's still missing without totally confirming. He implied that Ahsoka hasn't gone on her search yet with Sabine. So if that's the case, it's probably not Ezra. It could be Cal, which I'd be totally okay with because I love the actor. But it's like, you've seen how epic that call was, right? You telling me Luke fucking Skywalker, who's supposed to be the Jedi at this point, doesn't hear that call? Like, do we want to insult the Luke Skywalker character any more than we already have in the last 2 movies that came out?
He's not trained all that well.
I mean, at this point, he's pretty good.
He's self-training, so he could be. But
he heard Vader call to him from thousands of feet away in the Falcon. So
that was like a direct call.
That
I
was
don't know.
also
Anyway,
his own blood.
It could still be Luke.
And that's also partially Vader's power.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, look at what Baby Yoda or Baby Grogu was.
I'm gonna start collecting like Nerf balls and throw them at you guys when you say Baby Yoda.
I'd be stunned at this point if it's not Luke. I don't know if it would mean de-aging. I don't know if it would mean Sebastian Stan. I don't know if it means someone else. But someone's going to pay off. And I mean, I suppose it could be a dark side character too of some sort. So who do you guys think it's going to be quickly around the table? Johnny, you first.
I'm still betting Kanan Jarrus.
Force Ghost Kanan?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not saying that Luke didn't hear it. But I think the entity that Grogu was communicating with was, I think, Kanan.
That one's a little bit out of left field, but...
Said it last week. Is that out of left field then?
Very much so.
I think the tie is still there. I think it's going to get us towards the Ezra story. I think I wouldn't be too shocked if Kanan and Grogu didn't train together at the temple.
Yeah, I mean, that could be possible. It would line up. Sounds like Grogu was a little bit of a secret, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because, like, Ahsoka didn't even know him, and Ahsoka trained at the temple, and...
Wasn't Kanan's master one of the secret keepers? Like, one of the more into the secret stuff in the Jedi Order, if I remember correctly? Yeah. Like, wasn't Depa in part of the more secretive things? I feel like that was the case, so I think he would have known about it through that. I could be entirely wrong on that.
I don't know. She's not on the banger list, though.
You're so full of it. Every female character is on the banger list.
I'd bang Han. I mean, it's Han Solo. Come on. Thaden, give us who you think showing up.
No, I'm not going to leave that. Okay. You don't bang Han Solo bangs you. Okay?
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably
shot
right.
first.
You're probably right. Thaden, give us who you think it's going to be, man.
God. I think it's going to be a Skywalker, like the Chiss kind, because they can navigate through the Force, and like Luke probably can't do that. How would he know where Grogu is? So I think that's the easiest way to explain how they know where the person is, but I don't know, maybe not. My other hopes are Tara Sinube, who is great. I'm not going to explain him. It'll take a long time. And Yaddle. I don't know who it's going to be, though. I have no real guess other than Chiss. My actual guess is Chiss.
Kieran?
Brigadier General Meeber Gascon. No.
Yes.
I do think it's. You know what? I thought Luke Skywalker, and I still think that's my number one. But I think it makes more and more sense to me for it to be Cal Kestis, because they have a perfect actor for him.
It'd be cool.
No, it's if he showed up, a lot of people will be happy, but we're only one video game into what I assume is just going to be another one. Has it been confirmed?
Yeah, it's supposed to be in development, but
Sort of.
who knows,
We don't
man?
even know the status of the EA agreement long term. I mean,
However-
it's over next year.
However, if he shows up in this show, you got a second game right there, and you got probably more money coming into it. So it makes sense to me.
Tommy, who's your guess, man?
Games are so fragile, though. I do not think we're going to see Cal Kestis as much as I would like to see him in live action. I just don't see it happening. Actually, I think there's a pretty darn good chance we're going to see who it was, episode 8. I think there's a pretty good chance.
They pull Ian McDiarmid back in. Wait, who they were communicating with, or who took Baby Grogu?
Who's going to be the Jedi?
Oh, I think we're seeing it in episode 8 too.
Oh yeah.
So if it was Luke Skywalker, it'll be Luke Skywalker. I'm kind of torn between, in that Filoni interview, it was said that epilogue of Rebels, that little chunk, was not necessarily after or prior the Ahsoka episode. He also didn't say definitively. So I'm kind of the mind that he's not totally decided, or just keeping on the down low. Maybe we'll get surprised. Personally, if I got what I wanted, I think it would be a new character.
Sounds like a
I
very
don't know
Ryan
if
Johnson
this is
answer.
how I want to see. I don't know if this is how I want to see Ezra make a return. I want to see Ezra make a return, and a real powerful return. I just don't know if this is the way I want to see that.
Well, that's an interesting take, my man. Interesting take. And with that said, though, it's time to move on to our final segment of this show. The Death Watch.
I claim this sword and my rightful place as leader of Death Watch.
Alrighty, it's time for the Death Watch. And after Thaden won last week, thanks to Kieran's screwjob. No, I'm kidding. I'm playing. It's Johnny, I think this is the first time you and I have done questions since the first matchup of Death Watch. I don't think it's been you and I doing the questions since the first one because of the way it's all worked
one
out.
after that.
So,
But I wouldn't be surprised if this is at least at most the third time.
I'm excited because I really don't know who's at the advantage here. I think they're.
I think it's categorical knowledge. I mean, I think we all know that every individual has a strength in one category and a not strength in other categories. So it all comes down to the luck of the draw.
They certainly do. And with that said, Thaden is the reigning, defending Death Watch champion of the world. And he gets to choose a number between 1 and 10.
7.
Nope, that's not the number.
Bullshit.
Kieran.
2.
Nope. Tommy.
4.
Nope. Thaden.
5.
Nope. Kieran.
6.
Nope. Tommy. Sorry.
8.
No.
Fuck. 8.
Thaden.
9.
No. Kieran.
1.
No. Tommy. Bloody hell.
What numbers are left?
That's for you guys to keep track
Yeah.
of, not us.
You're muted, Tommy. We can't hear you.
I'm not. 3.
Now you're coming through. No, that's not the number. Thaden.
10.
That's the number.
Hey! I'm happy about that.
All righty. Well, Thaden, you get to pick a number again between 1 and 3.
3.
All righty. Kieran, pick a number, either 1 or 2.
1.
All right. Would you guys like to know your categories?
Yep.
Yes.
All righty. So, Tommy B, you have won the category of video games. Kieran, you have won the category of movies.
Fuck.
And Thaden has won the category of you know what? Go ahead. Do your bit.
Literature.
It
That's
gets slightly more evil every time.
yeah. Frank says Tommy's the only one who doesn't have a blue background. Well, that's because Johnny, Kieran, and myself are all in the same place. Thaden is in a clone place by the looks of the wall. Might as well be the same
I
place.
painted the wall. Those aren't even real things on the wall. I just painted it.
All right, Thaden, you are the reigning defending champion. Would you like to go first, second, or third?
Second.
All righty, Kieran, first or third?
First.
All right, that makes it easy. That's actually the way I have you guys listed on the sheet, which means Kieran's up first in the category of video games. Johnny, can you pull the 20-second timer up, please? All righty, here we go.
I got movies.
Yeah, sorry, movies.
No, never mind.
Question number 1. Keep in mind, you have each question's worth 2 points. Unless you ask for multiple choice, then it's only worth 1. You can only ask for multiple choice 2 of the 3 questions. Here we go. And if you ask for a repeat, you only get 10 seconds to answer the question.
And 5 seconds upon a multiple choice.
Correct. All right, here we go. I first appeared on screen during the original Star Wars movie. I had close ties to one of the lead characters, and I died at the Death Star. Who am I?
Repeat.
10 seconds.
I first appeared on screen during the original Star Wars movie. I had close ties to one of the lead characters, and I died at the Death Star.
That's super vague.
5, 4, 3.
Okay, give me multiple choice, I guess.
Your multiple choice options are 1, Grand Moff Tarkin. 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi. 3, Porkins. 4, Biggs Darklighter.
3, 2.
Biggs?
That is correct for a point. It was Biggs. Nice point. Although Obi-Wan and Tarkin could sort of fit.
The close tie is that he's Luke's friend, right?
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Let's go.
All right, it's Thaden and Thaden's literature, which, is me again. All right. Here we go. My backstory tends to change. I was a Force user in Star Wars Legends. My death was due to a squad betrayal. Who am I?
It's even in a squad.
10
that I
seconds.
know.
5, 4, 3.
Repeat?
I'll mention this in the repeat. The squad should be looked at loosely. Don't necessarily look at it as an official term, although it could be.
Okay.
My backstory tends to change. I was a Force user in Star Wars Legends. My death was due to a squad betrayal.
Multiple choice?
Is it 1, Mitra Surik, 2, Jason Solo, 3, Anakin Solo, 4, Jaden Core?
I'm going to go with Mitra Surik.
That is correct for a point.
Yeah, because she's not... Yeah, the Force thing.
It's the fourth thing
That was tough.
that tells
Well, I
you
mean,
this?
the other stuff too, but that was like...
All right, so they both
I
used
knew
multiple
that
choice,
about
but they both got a point. I'll prepare the timer. Johnny, take it away.
All right, Tommy, your category is video games. Video games.
Oh God, that's terrible.
That is terrible.
That you have video games? Or that you guys don't like the way I say video games?
That you sound like someone who'll be like, if you stay in this house for one night, you can keep it. But beware, it is haunted.
So I sound like a carnival barker? I'm okay with that.
Any goodwill you
All right,
won with
let's get to
literature is out the window now. Congratulations.
You don't like video games?
No. All right,
Keep
let's
saying
take it
video
away.
Do it. I
games
wanna
as
go
often as
bed.
possible because you guys don't like it. Okay. Oh, I got distracted. All right. Have you got your clock ready?
Yep.
All right.
You said, never mind.
I said clock. Get your mind out of the gutter, bro.
Okay, let's go. I want to go to bed.
I was destroyed by another of my kind. I presented myself as a gift, not as my true self. I had two directives in life. Who am I?
Repeat the question, please.
I was destroyed by another of my kind. I presented myself as a gift, not as my true self. I had two directives in life. Who am I?
I'll take the multiple choice.
Are you GOTO, RZ76, JV88, or R3D0?
I have no fucking clue who those are. I mean, one of them I know.
3.
But let's go with the
2.
last one.
R3D0 is incorrect.
Was it Goto?
It was Goto.
That's what I thought.
Goto gets destroyed
He gets destroyed by HK.
at the end.
Yep.
At the end.
Yep.
Shit.
He gets
Yep.
destroyed by HK for trying to stop Bayodir's remote.
Alrighty, so the score after round one is 1-1-0. For cinematic movies, I was a villain of sorts. My death, in my eyes, would be an act of betrayal.
Repeat the question.
I was in 3 Star Wars cinematic movies. I was a villain of sorts. My death, in my eyes, would be an act of betrayal.
Five seconds.
Is it Kylo Ren?
It is not Kylo Ren. We were, in fact, looking for... yeah, Newt Gunray.
Oh.
Lord Sidious promised us peace.
Oh, he was in 3, I guess.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Man, that's funny that I got that question too. Because I do the no every week.
As soon as I seen Thaden's reaction, I'm like, oh, he knows.
You know what? I didn't have
pieced
it,
it
but the
together,
guess I didn't have it, but the guess I had was like, I'll use my multiple choice next.
Frank Riker, O.J. Simpson. Alrighty, Thaden, over to you in literature.
Literature.
Question number 2. I exist in both canon and in legends. I was once a powerful Force user. My death, tell me where you've heard this one before, was an act of betrayal. Who am I?
Fuck.
Darth fuck.
Could be.
10. 5. 4.
Repeat.
I exist in both canon and in legends. I was a powerful Force user. My death was an act of betrayal.
5.
Multiple choice.
Your multiple choice options are 1, Exar Kun, 2, Darth Plagueis, 3, Darth Bane, 4, Lumaya.
Darth Plagueis.
That is correct for a point. Taking the lead.
I got caught up thinking about people who didn't die in books, which was an issue.
Alrighty, over to Tommy in video games, who has a multiple choice left and is still very much in this.
All right, Tommy. I was killed just prior to an orbital bombardment. My pride and joy survived. I unwittingly hired my own killers. Who am I?
Repeat the question, please.
I was killed just prior to an orbital bombardment. My pride and joy survived. I unwittingly hired my own killers. Who am I?
Oh, I know it.
I guess I'll take the multiple choice.
Calo Nord, Davik Kang, America Ferrara, or Zelka Form?
Oh my god.
Davik Kang.
That is correct for 1 point.
For a point. Oh, I thought Tom.
Are those last
very
one?
good.
Is that 2 bullshit answers at the end? Who the hell? Who are number 3 and 4?
Well, America Ferrara is in fact a woman.
Superstore.
And she's an actress. And
Okay, so
Zelka
that can't
Form
be
is just
that.
a made-up name that sounds like it's from Star
So
Wars.
it was 2 bullshit
So
multiple.
there was
What's
2
wrong with making up answers that sound like they're true? I mean, does Zelka Form not sound like a Star Wars character?
That one does, but not American Ferrari. I'm
Well,
sorry.
America Ferrara was
America
meant to be a
Ferrara
throwaway, but
does not
Zelka
sound like a
Form is
Star
meant to
Wars
sound like a
character.
Star Wars character.
All right, guys, we're moving on to the third and final round. The score is 2 for Thaden, 1 for Tommy and Kieran, and
Pressure's on.
only Kieran has multiple choice left. So he's sitting in a nice position right now to at least tie it. Here we go, Kieran. I appeared in 2 Star Wars cinematic movies. I only appear on 1 planet, and my death would have a lasting impact for years to come.
Django Fett?
You seriously throwing that out there without a multiple choice?
Your questions are like, I was in 2 movies. I am on a planet. I hold a gun.
Well, I don't know about the hold a gun part, but
Yep, no, Django Fett. That's my guess.
Jango Fett was in 1 movie, so no. We were looking for Shmi Skywalker. This coming from the guy that went with Maul.
Yep. What?
Hit. What? Sorry, what? All I hear is you got mauled.
Can you at least give something about the character? It's like those are like guess who.
I think that one actually is easier than like you're overthinking it a bit.
Yeah, and you had something about the character with question number 1 with Biggs, and you had something about the character with Viceroy Gunray because Thaden had it. So
but one clue.
I think the number of characters that have appeared in multiple films but only on a singular planet is very small.
agreed.
I don't know. I
think the only characters that apply to are Tatooine characters. I mean, I guess.
I want to hear like I was a Jedi, I was a whatever, I did. It's just like I was in 3 movies. I appeared on 2 planets.
Sometimes you don't get what you want.
I think Owen and Beru both.
3 movies for them.
Were they in 3?
3, yeah. 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably soon to be a TV series. So.
No, you're right. You're right.
Where are we now?
I'm still upset about Boba Fett.
Thaden,
So
we're
it's just
Thaden.
whatever.
Ow.
Thaden.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You still
all
should
right.
have taken the multiple choice. You still have it.
All right. Question number 3. I was a Jedi Knight. I was viewed. See, this question's getting. It's just the category.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes, I knew you were going to pick that category. How dare me?
I was in 51 pages. I said 5 lines.
What's hilarious here is you actually. I better not say that. Would be too much of a giveaway. All right, question number 3. I was a Jedi Knight. I was viewed as stubborn and not flexible. I was killed on the Outbound Flight project. Who am I?
Fuck. And I don't have multiple choice.
10, 5, 4, 3.
Repeat, just in case.
I was a Jedi Knight. I was viewed as stubborn and not flexible. I was killed on the Outbound Flight Project. Or during the Outbound Flight Project.
Koran Horn.
That is incorrect.
Way off.
We were looking for one. Druis Sabayoth, who also appears in the audiobook I sent all of you guys.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was a Jedi. I've heard the name. I would never remember it.
Somebody
also.
hasn't started listening yet. You would definitely know that by now. So 0 points for Thaden there, and 0 for Kieran. And I can't believe I'm about to say this. If Tommy answers this outright, he beats Kieran and Thaden.
Well, he has to answer outright. He has no multiple choice remaining.
What is
That is true.
Is it 2-1-1 right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So see that? If you
Probably
take
not
your
going
multiple
to,
choice
but
and
go ahead.
guess, you could still be in it.
I don't want to win this anymore. I want to do
Okay,
questions.
well.
That way next week I can show what they actually should look like.
So we're going to get more I was mauled.
Yeah, probably.
There was 1 minute. I did that one. I was like, Sean was like, "Do you have an overtime question?" I was like,
I got mauled.
I did he even get the question right?
Okay. Either way, let's move on. Tommy, your final question. No multiple choice. You have to answer outright, and if you do, you are our winner. If you get it incorrect, then Thaden retains. No pressure. I commanded a ship at the Battle of Endor. I commanded that same ship at the Battle of Jakku. My legacy would fight against all that I believed. Who am I?
Repeat the question, please.
I commanded a ship at the Battle of Endor. I commanded that same ship at the Battle of Jakku. My legacy would fight against all that I believed. Who am I?
I'm assuming... No, it's not him either.
5,
Fuck.
4.
Ricky Martin?
Oh my god!
Yes, and I knew it. I think. Is that your real answer? Before I say something.
3.
At first, I was thinking
Do you have any?
Versio's father, but I don't.
Garrick Versio.
I couldn't think of his first name, so.
You know, if you had just said it right after Thaden did, you would have got that. Because your time hadn't expired when Thaden blurted out the correct answer.
Well,
Said
I
stuff.
couldn't think of the
I took it as
first
Tommy
name,
was
Uh,
done.
so it wouldn't
Tommy's-
have counted.
Tommy's a man of honor. He wouldn't have taken it. He would have been like, "That wasn't B." I think Tommy's the most honorable among us all.
I couldn't think of the first name, you know? I mean,
I
it could have
couldn't
been, I
either,
could have met Iden Versio, I could have met her daughter, so.
Well,
In my head,
whatever.
I was
daughter-
like Galen Versio, and there's like, wait, no, Gideon Versio. Wait, no, and then I figured it out.
Wow.
It was, in fact.
Should we talk
her
about this
first
on the podcast?
No.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's the show. Big thank you to Tommy, Thaden, Johnny, and a disgruntled Kieran for a fun night. Went way too long, half an hour overboard here. 2 hours is supposed to be the limit. Johnny, where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me here doing stuff on this channel, maybe occasionally. And also, you might find me once in a blue moon using my Twitter, because I actually used it this week.
I feel like I've heard that like 4 or 5 times now. It stops working after a while, man.
Well, and I only use it like once a month, it's still effective. It's like spotting something rare, you know.
I feel like it's more often than that.
Yeah, me too.
But it's really not.
This is an outro.
Tommy, why don't you go fuck yourself? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well,
Where can everybody find you at, man?
in bed in about 15, 20 minutes. But on social media, you can find me floating around our Facebook groups and pages. Go check out the Fandom Empire Den, the channel's Facebook group. If you want to find me on other platforms, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TommyB1650.
Thaden, where can everybody find you at, man?
Here. That's mostly it. Also on Rogue Sons, I said it right. Rogue Sons, a Star Wars podcast, which has not had an episode in a while, but now I think me and Kieran are at least about to have more time. So hopefully we can make some more of those because they're fun times.
And you, Kieran, where can everybody find you at, man?
I don't want anyone to find me.
Sulking in the corner.
I don't want anyone to find me because any of our Star Wars fans they all love Boba Fett, so they probably all don't want to listen to my shit anyways.
You can find Kieran by following the Trail of Tears.
You know what? It's all love.
That's pretty fucked up.
I love being on the show. I love our fans, and even though I hate Boba Fett, it's mostly just because it's fun and it's funny, and I enjoy coming on here and yelling.
Until they kill Mando off in Episode 8 and Boba Fett becomes the main character, and that's the Boba Fett show.
I just won't watch. You guys can be like, I gave it an 8 out of 10, and I'll be like, I didn't watch it because it's shit.
Wow. By the way, guys, fun thing coming up here. Starting in January 2021, have a little extra something Star Wars coming your way. Not telling you what yet, though. That's it for us tonight, guys. We'll be back Thursday with Fandom Empire Live, which we're going to dive back into the Halloween universe. That said, there's some Spider-Man shit to talk about, and if it ends up being a big Star Wars day, it might be a heavy Star Wars episode, too. So we'll see you Thursday, or we'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week. Good night, everybody, and may the Force be with you. Boba Fett rocks.